sport fans watching around the world, this is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Let's get straight into the episode.
Yeah, we heading for the sun. Shawty got my high, I ain't tripping for the funds. Yeah, I won't start, I ain't tripping, I'm a stun.
Alright. Before we start, I need to say something to you that I do say to everyone that comes on, but I would not be saying it if it was not true. You're sitting here because I find you interesting, and that's because you are an interesting person. I want to learn more about you, how you think, and how you feel, and I love that I have the opportunity to share this experience. So I really appreciate you coming over. Thank you for sitting down, and ladies and gentlemen listening, you're probably going to learn as much about this guest as I am, because I've only had the pleasure of sitting and talking to him a small handful of times. But from what I've gathered, he's an amazing artist. He's a very expressive type of person, and just by the sounds of things, I think he's a young entrepreneur in the creation with his creative and expressive ideas. Not to mention, he's also a great human being. This is Bryce Tooth.
That's pretty great. Pretty flattered. I'm blushing a little bit.
Good. First question I ask is how do you honestly feel being on camera, being on the podcast? Any nerves, excitement? Do you not mind too much?
I mean, I don't mind being on camera.
Okay.
But I do prefer to be behind the camera.
Okay,
That's
cool.
something I've always, because like I'd studied film, so I always wanted to be a director or a cinematographer.
Okay, cool. I like how this is
Never wanted
going.
to be in front of this. Always behind them.
Yeah, I forgot to mention, if that red light turns off,
Yeah.
which it happens a lot, the cameras somehow die. I don't know why, they just somehow die. They're all charging now, so it shouldn't turn off, but if it does, please just let me know so I can swap it. I have spares now because it takes too long to charge them, so I'll just put another one straight on.
And Sony don't give you the battery pack, do they?
Nah.
You got to charge it right into the...
Yeah. I think I might go to... I think I tried JB Hi-Fi. You're working at JB Hi-Fi at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I tried there. They didn't have the battery pack, so I don't know where to get them from.
Oh, it's so hard to turn that off. But they're
Yeah.
so hard to
Good thinking, I'll do that too.
They're like, they're not even a special battery. They're just, you have to go to a camera place, and then that's where you're going to be spending like
Okay.
$80 just to charge your
Yeah.
battery.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I've been loving the camera house. I go to the camera house at Rouse Hill all the time now. It's like candy shopping for me now.
Go to George's as well.
George's in the city.
George's.
I'm actually going to go there tomorrow.
Ted's is really cheap as well. Most camera places do price match, so like watch that.
Okay. Yeah,
Like,
see.
Even though I get staff pricing at JB Hi-Fi, some places price match like my staff. So
Wow. Yeah, sick. Well, George's cameras, I'm actually going to go there because they have this editing program, DaVinci Resolve 19. And I didn't even know, I've been using the free trial version. And now I'm going to start trying to do special effects and things like that. So I have to pay for the actual program. But I don't want to buy it online. You know, I'm scared that I'm going to get rorted.
no, look, it's fine to do that, but pre-warning, getting into like fancier stuff.
Yeah.
If you're gonna teach yourself, it's the best way.
Yeah.
But it's an absolute nightmare.
Okay.
Doing like those like just little clip animations.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never thought like I can shoot, edit, splice music into whatever audio or video I want, but then it comes to making those stupid little pop-up like fonts and logos come up. Ridiculous.
I'm excited about it, man. I know it's going to be a challenge. I'll probably never do it for the podcast because there's 2 hours worth of footage to get through most podcasts.
Yeah, like
But I think I want to do it for my mates. Like I got Damo, shout out to Damo. I know you're probably listening. He does like montages of him fighting, and I want to put a creative twist on it. You know what I mean? Just have a bit more neon lights, or whether it's a fade in, fade out kind of thing.
I think I've got quite a few like links I can send you. Just DaVinci. You've gone obviously with the smartest, like,
Okay.
the best choice.
Good.
Because I started off. I actually like my uni degree was studying. It was like Bravia and Premiere Pro. Premiere Pro is such a raw. It's like $30 a month.
Oh.
And that's just for like Premiere Pro, like nothing else, no After Effects to do that like fancy.
Oh, really?
And like they don't give you much. Like you've still got to buy plugins most of the time. If you see a really good plugin, it's probably made by some like creator, and he charges a fortune.
Fuck.
But DaVinci, because I learnt on CC, I actually went on DaVinci, and you can change what the actual layout looks like.
Okay.
So I chose Premiere Pro. So
that's cool.
DaVinci looks like Premiere Pro.
Oh,
now,
that's
dude.
cool.
Oh, so much better.
Yeah, you know so much more than me, bro. I'm just trying to teach myself. It's been a good journey up to the point I'm at now. I feel very, very comfortable editing and all this stuff. So I'm trying to chuck more challenging shit on top of it now that I feel a bit more comfortable.
To be honest, like, I wouldn't even want to give you too much, like, information because it's so much better to learn on your own.
Okay.
Like, when you learn it your own way, like, yeah, there's shortcuts you can always learn and always little niche things, but I still do that for YouTube. Like,
Yeah.
if I've got something like,
How
how do I
YouTube,
do
mate?
this?
Yeah.
I'm just going to search up on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'll put in a paragraph of how do I do this, do that, and it'll be a whole paragraph. And then there'll be someone on Reddit that solves it.
Yeah.
Reddit is like the best thing for these dumb little creative, like.
Yeah. Well, what about off camera? We're talking about audio syncing, and like, bro, that's nothing on YouTube. Like, everyone's got an idea of what you think your audio problem is, and you can go through 1,000 videos and it won't be your audio problem. I think.
Oh yeah.
That was the case with me anyway.
I had a lot of problems with when I export a video finally, and if I've got it synced up so each little beat of the song goes to the cut, looks fine in like the cutting room, export it and it's like a millisecond off, and it's just, I don't know if it's like my graphics card or whatever, but it's just that little bit off. But
yeah, that would be frustrating. I haven't had that.
times.
I know what that feels like. Yeah, that might be the case with mine. I just wouldn't notice because like the camera changes between the two don't happen instantaneously.
Yeah.
So maybe that is happening with me. Oh well, if I get that problem, hopefully do you have a solution to it yet?
Well, to be honest, I've done so many workarounds where if it gets that bad to like noticing the jumps to, it's like just off.
Yeah.
I'll end up making it so it's not on the jump at all.
Okay,
it's just
yeah.
completely independent.
Yeah.
But the annoying thing is like the rest of the video will be perfect to the jump cuts, but then it would just be like that one scene that I really wanted to look good.
Yeah, it's always the
just
best scene
doesn't.
too. Yeah.
But yeah, no.
It's cool. It's cool how like because I've never been what I consider to be creative. I know I can tell you are, because shout out to that painting you painted. How long? That was a while ago. It would have been 3 years, I reckon.
Almost, actually, I did that painting before I got my dog, so almost 5 years now.
What? 5 years? Fuck.
I've definitely progressed a lot more with painting now.
Damn, that's
I
crazy.
even worked for a painting company, so
Yeah, I'm going to get into that. I knew you worked for a painting company. I'm going to get into that.
yeah, sweet.
For everyone listening, this painting, the original thing was, how would you describe the painting that you originally painted? Like, it was a Omega symbol in the middle, and then how would you describe what was happening left and right?
So it was kind of a mashup of about 4 to 5 different religions
Okay.
or mythologies. There was a few others in there, like I had Norse, I had the creation of Adam. That was the two.
That was,
fingers
that
touching.
famous painting of the two fingers coming out of God.
I
and
didn't want to do the whole
man.
thing. I just did those two, and then I just included some like I think it was like some Chinese.
I do that a lot, don't worry about it.
Never testy pop, but on a podcast, of course.
Yeah.
I just went in and sort of wanted to create something that was like the most symbolistic painting I probably could have.
Yeah.
It was at the time when I first, like the first iteration of the painting, it was quite crit. Like,
Okay.
just all the typical like high school things. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, this is cool, and put all those symbols in.
Yeah.
But then once you said, hey, look, I like that painting, and I was able to refine that, get rid of some of those symbols, and then just focus in on something, that's where painting something like that is so much easier.
Yeah, that's cool.
Sometimes. Because
Yeah.
doing commissions for people, as long as, if they don't care and they just want like your style, that's fine. You can paint it however you want. And you've got like a little bit of borders.
Yeah.
But if someone's got like a paragraph of lists for you, then
Yeah.
it's an absolute nightmare.
It's like with tattoos. I'm gonna go back to what we were just talking about, but with tattoos, like I noticed when I go into a shop, I have so much trust in my tattoo artist that he kind of knows my style as well. But even if I just say, this is what I want, this is the shape, however you want to do it, because I know that he's got a good style of tattoo. But then I have some mates who go to get a tattoo and it's like bullet points, like 100 bullet points, and it has to match every single criteria. And I think to myself, like, you're never going to be happy, you know what I mean? Like, if you go in with that mindset, how can you be completely satisfied? You may as well just figure it out yourself.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
What I did for all my tattoos is I drew them, so then the tattoo artist knew what I had in mind.
Yeah.
And I straight up say, look, this is what I want, but I want it in your style. Like, do it how you want.
Yeah.
The only one that probably turned out the most basic was that one, because I did it blind drunk in Las Vegas. So that makes sense. Like, he did that. I think he actually used the drawing I did that night, put it on my arm, and I was like, oh, shit.
Well, blind drunk drawing, not too bad, bro. Not too bad.
Well,
I think Fossey got a cactus too, did he, with you?
Oh, no,
Someone else got a cactus then. But he definitely got a tattoo with you there, didn't he?
Yeah, he got Nick's name when he sings.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Just so we
and
could
then
try
Nick
and win
backed
points.
out.
Yeah.
Nick backed out. That's a great
Nick,
move.
Ryan wanted a bull skull, and he was after me.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, nah, I can't afford a bull skull. So my tattoo artist, he's like, hey, look, like, you have a little bit of banter. He's like, I'll put a bull skull at the bottom of your cactus. Just pick on your friend. And I was like, were you charging extra? And he's like, no. I'm like, do it. Like, I don't care how shocking it is, but just do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I
Nice.
actually have. I was in Bali recently.
Oh, so I just came back from Bali a few months ago as well.
I don't know if I like Bali.
Bro, thank God you said that, because I think Bali's a dumb.
Hey, well, I only went there because, like, Zoe, fiance, she's a freaking humanitarian, so she was in Indonesia.
Yeah, I did know that, actually. I want to talk about that, yeah.
The best place we could meet was Bali. It's just easier to get there. And she was taken back. Like, she was in the heart of Indonesia and then going to Bali.
Yeah,
Fully
okay.
Fucking drunk Aussies everywhere. And
Yeah.
it was dumb.
Yeah, bro, it was.
No insult to Bali people.
Yeah, good point.
But just the...
Yeah, good point.
It's
I like
the
the way you did
Australians that go there.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was like
Yeah.
an 80-year-old lady that was stuck on the side of the road vomiting her guts out. She was so old. Like, she had a walking cane. And I was like, I don't know if, like, she's just sick from drinking the water or blind drunk. Because everyone else around her was blind drunk. And I'm
Yeah.
like, classic Aussies. But yeah, I went in there and drew that in a tattoo shop.
Yeah,
I was like, hey,
nice.
look, just
Bro, you're
anyone
so
wants to
good at
do it,
drawing.
Do
Wow.
it. And then this guy walked up and he's like, I'll take it. And he just, like, completely went away with it.
Damn. That's nice. That's
I
very
love it.
nice. That was in Bali.
Yeah. Oh,
They do good work. I'll show you off camera. I got a big sword the last time I went. Oh, I also got a couple scorpions and a couple other things here and here. But speaking of Bali, I got to circle back to what I was going to say before. But speaking of Bali, it was like, I actually paid for a lot of nice things to do there. So I did enjoy the holiday a lot. Well, I went to like snorkeling, some of those tours and monkey forest and stuff. That was all nice.
Yeah.
It was the time you don't spend doing tours that is just shit. Like, the beach was so overcrowded. You literally have to keep paying just to sit on those chairs.
yeah. And, like, being in those resort areas, they're just... everyone there knows you're a tourist, so they're just in your face about it. I mean, I don't mind it. They're trying to make money. But...
oh, dude. I had this one lady on the beach who was like... She literally said, I am not leaving until you buy a bracelet. And it was like, fuck off. She wanted originally like $30 Australian for one of those fucking beads.
Yeah, we had these little girls following us around with fans. And they just wanted us to buy... It was like, I think like $15 at first. Like, no, like, we don't want a fan. Which we did want a fan. It was really hot.
But not for $15.
And she was sitting there just fanning us the whole time.
Yeah.
And then, like, we were kind of like, oh, maybe we should get one. So then she'd fan a little bit more. And then when we were going to buy one, her, like my partner's parents came over and they're like, oh, we just bought you a bunch of fans.
Oh.
Like, oh, so sorry.
Oh.
We already got fans.
Yeah.
And we just got fanned for nothing for like 45 minutes. Because we're at some waterfall and like...
Yeah.
I don't know geography there, but we had some waterfall there, and it was...
I went to a couple of nice waterfalls, I think. I did. Did you go to one, I can't remember what it was called, but you have to pass this big swing before you get to it. It was a very big tourist one. Where did you stay in Bali?
It was Legion.
Oh, okay, we stayed in completely different areas.
It's spelt Legion, but it's definitely Legion.
Yeah.
But no, it was, right on the beach. So it was pretty cool, but at the same time, I'm going to swim in the pool over the beach.
Yeah.
They had a swim up bar there, but It was just all old people. I could definitely tell.
Yeah.
It smelled like chlorine, so I was like, yeah, these old people pissing in the pool.
Yeah.
Fucking out.
Yeah. I stayed in Seminyak, which is like right next to Kuta on the beach, so we got to go back and forth between there. That was like a bit more of a hot spot, and then we drove inland maybe 2 hours or so to get to Ubud, and we got to stay in like the actual forest part.
Oh, yeah.
Ubud was very nice. They both had their pros and cons.
Yeah.
But I will not go back to Bali by choice. Unless a future girlfriend or something wants to go, or boys trip, or maybe even. I don't even know if I would do
I
that.
would say even like boys trip, like somewhere like Thailand.
Yeah.
At least somewhere new and refreshing.
Yeah.
I even want to go to Japan so bad.
Yeah, I know.
Tokyo.
Japan's what's up, bro. Everyone wants to go to Japan. I think I'm going to hold off for a long time, but you reckon you'll go recently?
I'd love to go to Japan this year, but
Okay.
got to do so much shit before I can even think about going somewhere, spend money.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'll probably go back to Thailand, I think, next, and then I want to go Egypt more than Thailand. I have to see it, bro. I have to see the pyramids. I have to.
Yeah.
I'm never going to know the answer, but I just need to be able to have the scale comprehension in my head of the size that can help my insane ideas come to life, you know?
Like, that... The biggest thing that blew my mind was, like, everyone knows the Grand Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, yeah, it's grand. But seeing it in person, you're, like, actually... your breath is taken away from you. You're like,
Wow.
this is a big hole.
Yeah.
Like, they made us close our eyes and walk up to the edge and then open them all at once.
What?
And everyone would, like, no one even said anything. Everyone was just like,
What?
fuck, like, this is huge.
Have you been to the Blue Mountains and like looked over at
Yeah,
like our
Lincoln's Rock
gorge?
and stuff.
Yeah.
You look over that, like, that's massive.
That's the biggest thing I've seen. How much bigger can you comprehend Grand Canyon to Blue Mountains?
Well, with Blue Mountains, it's harder because you're seeing trees and you're seeing valleys. You're not seeing much, like, ground, or you're not seeing...
Oh, so there's nothing
waterfalls.
in the hole at Grand
Well,
Canyon?
So it's like... You can see the walls, and then on the walls you see different layers.
Mhm.
So each layer, we had a map there, and it was like... The top layer was within the first couple thousand years or something like that.
Okay.
And then it went, like, billion.
Oh,
it kept
really?
going down. So, like... It showed the erosion over the years, and that was
Okay.
pretty cool. But then at the bottom, you see like these little sanctuaries and like little waterfalls. And,
Oh, yeah?
but they're so far away; they look fake.
Oh,
Like,
really?
it was so deep.
Yeah.
Like if you fell in, you're not stressed because you know you're dead. and standing too close, the wind was so powerful. You're just like, if I'm gonna
Damn.
die.
So it's deeper than what we see at the Blue Mountains? Do you reckon it'd be deeper? Because the Blue Mountains, it doesn't seem that deep. Like, really, it's like...
Oh, it's definitely deeper than the Blue Mountains.
Okay.
It's also just that scale of perspective. Like the Blue Mountains is covered in greenery, so it just feels like it's all one, like a map thrown over.
Yeah, true.
But in the Grand Canyon, yeah, it's just like the item that you're looking at is so far away,
yeah.
and like the edge, you can barely see it. We went there and it was like kind of snowing, so like there was fog in certain parts, but majority of the day it was like super clear. So it was just nuts to think of something at that scale.
Yeah.
And when you see past it, it's just flat land. So it just looks like this massive crater in the ground.
Yeah.
It's like,
do they have an explanation as to what has caused it? Do you reckon they think it was an asteroid or something?
well, it was water corrosion.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Wow. Water's
billions of
deadly,
years
though.
or millions of years.
The ocean... When they say water corrosion, do they mean by like from rain, or was there once ocean above it or a lake?
Well, you can see that there's like a river flowing through the middle. So
Okay.
it would be the earliest river that would have been carving its way through the rock. Because that's most of the reason why some big valleys exist.
Okay.
Or crevasses. Whatever that word is.
Yeah, I think crevasses sounds right.
That's
Yeah.
water eroding into the rock and then causing it. So it's pretty nuts. And you can kind of see, because like it's not like just this perfect dome. You can see where the water's like slipped in, and it's carved these like nice natural sort of springs that go all the way down to the bottom. There's actually a tribe that lives at the bottom, and you can pay like a tour to do like this full...
Are they like full Native
it's like a
American
couple
tribe?
it's like a couple-week trip down and back.
What?
And like it's crazy that
Do you have to hike it, or can you drive? Like, how do they get in there?
it's a hike.
Really?
Yeah, there's
So
like
they're separated from society hard.
Yeah, but I can imagine how cool that would be.
Yeah.
Like you're just don't exist on the map at all.
Yeah. You did literally on a different level than everyone else.
Yeah, you're legit time traveling.
Wow.
It'd be so much hotter down there, I'd feel like it. And then, like, humidity would be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, it's not even... I don't know if that area is, like, actually elevated. It's in Nevada, I think, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it's elevated, so I'm...
That's a good point.
I think it's below sea level where that is, or
Oh, shit.
something like that. But
That's crazy.
it's pretty nuts how deep it goes. That's why I was just taken back. Because it's not like we went up some massive hills or mountains to get to this place. It was just driving a long stretch of road and we're there.
Yeah, nice.
But I don't know. I don't know how, like, where it sits on, like, the water table, but it...
You'd have as much of an idea as me, to be honest. I've got zero idea, to be honest, about anything to do with geography. I don't know where any country... I'm starting to learn where countries and shit are, but, like, I think I don't have a bird's eye view interpretation. I can't tell where Mount Druitt is in compared to Penrith. I can't tell where Cronulla is in compared to Rouse Hill. I've got no idea. I can't understand it.
I'm not too bad, but there's you know, like Wordle, or that game is.
Yeah.
There's one called Worldy,
Oh yeah.
and it's you. There's a few different ones, but it gives you the shape of a country,
Yeah.
and you need to guess what it is, or it gives you just the name of a country. You've got to click on the right one. You scroll across the whole earth, and you got to click on the right one. And I think that's helped me a little bit get a bit better at geography. I mean, I've had a all right grasp, like North and South America, and then across like Europe. I just always get confused with like it's like the Middle Eastern down to like Africa and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you've got all those countries in between there that I always like.
Well, I couldn't believe that Egypt was actually in Africa. That blew my mind when someone told me that like a week and a half ago. That's crazy.
The only reason I knew that is just watching documentaries after documentaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, they always talk about like the rulers that came down from certain areas, or like how they had mad wars against like certain like countries below them, like African countries, and I was like, damn, man,
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it's cool. All right. For everyone listening, I'm actually going to put a link in the description for Wordle because I'm going to download it. So if anyone else wants to play Wordle, there'll be a link in the description. I'm going to go backwards, all right, from how we got to fucking Africa.
It's good that it's less structured. It just goes on a tangent.
Yeah, I like it. I love it. I used to always shit myself and be like, fuck, I'm going off topic too much. But that's the point of the podcast, you know what I mean? It's the point of the podcast.
Write down 4 dot points and then as long as they're done for the day, it's fine.
Yeah. All right, so going back to where we started talking about that painting that you first painted, and I seen it.
Yeah.
It's cool to know that you were interpreting like multiple religions and putting them together to be one painting. You know, you're taking a little bit of North, a little Nordic, a little bit of Christianity in a way, and Orthodox actually in general, a bit of Chinese symboling. I didn't even see that. I just seen the Omega symbol in the middle, and I was like, fuck, if that had a line underneath it, that's my star sign. That's the first thing my eyes went to. So I was like, do you mind? I want to buy this. Do you mind doing that? And you're like, yeah, sweet. Anything else you want? And I was like, fuck, let's turn the left-hand side of it into more of a demonic kind of thing, you know, and the right-hand side a bit more of a angelic kind of presence, and then it's kind of like a yin-yang symbol.
Yeah.
And then you incorporated little bits of both into each other, which made it work.
Yeah.
And then there was also symbols, like there was a queen on one side and a king chess piece on the other side.
Yeah.
Bro, by the end of it, I don't think I'll ever own a better painting than that. It's so special to me. It's painted amazingly, don't get me wrong, but it's just amazing how it worked out. Your original, and now that I know that, I love it even more because I'm interested in religion so much. I love learning about every religion, and I pick and choose little parts from each one, and I try and see that, oh, that makes sense. This makes sense.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. That's why I like, if you've seen any of my other artwork, like Ryan's one.
I love that one. The one of who's that statue of?
That's Apollo, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much a lot of my busts or face are Apollo because, like, I mean, he's the Greek god of creativity, music, sun. So I was like, why not?
Nice.
Like, that is like my main source.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm not religious in any way, but I respect cultures and religions, and I love their like storytelling, and I love like the symbolism and all of it.
Symbolism is a great word, actually. I'm going to start using that.
Yes.
Symbolism. Jordan Peterson explained, I've been deep into Jordan Peterson for like a month now, again, as I was when I was younger. But he has a way of describing mythology and ancient religions and texts as like a blueprint for the way things are. Just they're what's the word? Metaphors, you know what I mean? We can still use, and actually Graham Hancock talks about this in this mad new Netflix show called Ancient Apocalypse. He uses all these ancient carvings on the walls as not, oh, this is a story from years ago. He uses that story as a piece of information of what could have life been like back then. It's almost like history, you know what I mean? Like not history as in it is from the past, but it's factual history, what they were drawing depictions of. Same thing could be with Egypt, you know, these stories of these gods that they've been drawing. Yeah, it could have been stories, but we're looking at it from a very, not pessimistic, but closed-minded way.
Oh, yeah.
It could have literally been how life was back then.
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that, because there's so many texts as well throughout history that kind of do line up with some cultures, and you can kind of see how humans like migrated through the continents, because you can see remnants of other religions and cultures coming from other areas in different, like Egypt's such a good one, because what one was I looking at? I think it's actually Greek mythology. There's actually a few gods in there that are very similar, minus the animal heads and those sorts of symbolisms, but they're like almost mirror, like for what those gods represent. But at the same time, like it's just also human nature to storytell, to be storytellers. Like it's a big thing. Like it's what builds morals. What teaches kids right from wrong. Just to, if you give them something like that, either a hero or a villain to either be afraid of or to idolize, that's like what you set the generations up with. So it, like, you can see it throughout all of culture, and I think my dad said it really well when he was young. But my dad's a like strict atheist because he came from like a Mormon family. Okay, so he's like straight atheism. But he's always said like the Bible is straight up a comic book that survived. He's like,
controversial topic. Let me just
but he explains it as explains it as like, imagine if the world was to go to shit today, and the first thing that future people ever found was some comic book or the last book written by us. That is like a standard for ours until we discover more text from that generation. And it's very different, but you relate it in the same sort of moral teachings of what Superman does to protect humans and stuff like that. It's not. Yeah, I get it. It is controversial, but at the same time, I understood when he said it, and I was like,
I know what you're saying now. Metaphorically, like it's the story aspect within the Bible that makes it comic book like, you know?
Yeah, it's the parables, it's all the moral teachings and the is it fables?
Fables, yeah.
Yeah, the fables section. It's like the David versus Goliath. Like they're meant to be stories that Jesus Christ told or were told throughout that time to teach kids right from wrong. So I always thought,
I've been looking into the Bible, and it's like it's not like a book, it's more like a library. And it's like it pre-exists Jesus Christ. The Bible already existed before him, and it was already talked about and taught as pretty much literature, you know, the Bible. And then when Jesus Christ came, that's probably when they created the name for it, the Bible, and they took all these other ancient texts. Because I think between Moses and Jesus Christ, who knows how many years that would have been. It could have been 10,000, you know, between the first 10 commandments and Jesus Christ coming and becoming the Son of God. And, but I understand, because it is a book of stories, and the stories are all just metaphors for like overcoming obstacles, like letting go of doubt, self-doubt, trusting yourself, putting your trust. I mean, this is a crazy idea I've had lately, but I'm kind of saying put trust in God and let go of that fear as another way of saying listen to your subconscious. You know, because you don't hear your subconscious. You're only in your conscious mind. But deep down, you've gathered all the information and you're processing it. So that might be another way of saying that.
Yeah.
Especially because Buddha found God from within. So maybe that's two of the same, you know what I mean? I don't know. That's just... I'd love to fucking go in deep one day about philosophy of religion, but it's too much. It's too much to learn.
Yeah. And it's a scary topic too.
Yeah. You don't want to say the wrong thing, eh?
You're very scared.
Yeah.
Like,
All
it's
right.
a good drunk topic, but
I agree. Well, then we'll go off it for a little bit. And you did mention that you are more comfortable being behind the camera because you're interested in being a director.
yeah.
Did that take you said you went to uni for it, actually.
Yeah, so I studied film and TV production at JMC.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't last very long, only because I got sick of being taught the stuff that I already knew.
Okay.
Because my major work for art, I did a short film, which, very sorry to my Year 12 teacher, because I specialised in acrylic painting. So
Okay.
I would have aced it. Well, she always said, like, yeah, if you stuck with that, you would have, like, guaranteed a spot in the top 3.
Mm-hmm.
But I did short film because I was like, film's something I've been obsessed with. I love photography. I love just videoing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely need to do more of that this year. That's a goal. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just did a short film and I still came second.
Oh, damn.
So I was pretty
Yeah.
that made me go, I'm gonna go to uni for this.
I
But,
thought this was going to be more of a story like, yeah, I did shit, but at least I put myself out there.
well, that's what I thought. I thought I was gonna be shit. And then I just knuckled down, started working on stuff, and then I went to uni for it. And they were just teaching me stuff that I found on YouTube. And I was like, oh, it's a creative degree, so it's very expensive. Like, if
Yeah.
I went and did any other degree, like at Western Sydney or whatever, would have been half the price.
No, okay.
I think I paid 16,000 for being there just for the first
Jeez.
couple months or so.
Couple months?
Well, I was there for the
What?
first
We're going to say year.
semester. I was like a couple weeks off
Ah.
getting my diploma, and I was like, well, I dropped out, and then I
Wow.
did my first film because I was like, oh, okay, just so you know, there's a film festival coming up. I want to do a film still. Don't go to uni here anymore. I just talked to my classmates, and I was like, I've written a script. We'll do a table talk where we all sit down, we'll write a quick little script, and then throw it in a hat. We all vote on which one we liked. And they managed to vote on mine. So I already felt bad because I organized the meeting. I said, this is the idea that we do. We all think of a quick little film. We throw the ideas in there and we pick which one we like.
Yeah.
So they chose mine. And then they're like, oh, well, you get to pick what role you want to play in that short film. And it was a smartphone film festival, so everything had to be recorded on a phone.
Oh, yeah, shot on iPhone like that.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool, but I did feel bad because, like, I felt like I was running the show the whole time. Because, like, I organized the meeting, I did that, and then ended up directing.
No, good work, bro. I don't think you should feel bad. I think you should take pride in that. That's leadership. That's a great characteristic. That's leadership.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
In when I was, like, at that age, being... Like, if I did that now, I'd be like, yeah, shit, yeah, fuck yeah, let's get this done. Right now, let's go. I'd try and lead the project. But I'd probably push directing to another person, only because at that scale, there wasn't much, like, direction. It was mainly who wrote the script. Once I wrote the script, or wrote the screenplay, and then worked on the script, that was most of the directing role done. So I just sat behind the camera, and then just, like, gave commands for, like, certain parts of the acting or whatever like that. Because producers do everything. Producers, like, they organize the place, they organize the actors, they pay the actors, they pay the place. Everything's done. You just need to give it, what did they teach us? Flavor.
Okay.
The director is the flavor of the film.
Okay.
So, like, with Quentin Tarantino and the rest of them, you can tell it's one of their films because it's got their flavor.
Oh, so are they also the writers, or is that a different job?
They can be the writers. So most of the time, like, big directors do write majority of the film. Like, they'll write the film itself. They might not write the script.
Oh, so that's crazy. I didn't even think of it as that. Writing the film's different to writing the script.
Yeah, so...
The film's like the story, isn't it? Like, that what you mean by that?
Yeah, so you can write, like, and storyboard most of the film, but then they could hire script writers. Like,
Wow.
so I, wrote the film, and then did all that, And then Matt Johns, he actually wrote the entire script for me.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, just keep it simple. Like, one of my favorite things in film is show, don't tell.
Okay.
So it's like a lot of
That's cool.
Not over explaining things. Like, I didn't want too much, like, vocals, because it's boring in a short film.
Yeah,
If you want a short film, you want to see images more than just voiceover or anything.
Yeah,
like
that makes sense. Especially for me, I'm like an action guy. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to watch. I like a good film where it's like the story's just so wrapped up well with a twist or whatever it is. But like, I'm a sucker for action, bro. I want Fast and Furious 10 to come in. You know what I mean? I'm a sucker for action.
What my favorite film, the film that got me like mad into the love of it is a film called Drive, Ryan Gosling, and that is one of the best like cases of show don't tell.
Okay.
I think Ryan Gosling had like he actually had one of the lowest amount of like words in a script for the whole film. Like his co-actors had more lines than he did. Like he said probably a full paragraph by the whole movie.
What? That's cool.
And he's just like this hired, like they hire him to drive. It's like the more gritty version of Baby Driver.
Okay.
But same sense. Like he's a quiet guy. He just knows how to drive really well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the same premise, but show don't tell is one of my key things that I focus on, and it helps with like making advertising video because you don't want a voiceover.
Yeah.
You don't want people to be bored. You want people to be captured in the first few seconds, so then they keep watching it.
Yeah.
If you can stop someone from skipping a YouTube ad, then you are like a trillionaire.
Yeah.
If you can do that, you are like you're done. You're set
dude,
for life.
I've hit it before it's even hit skip now. I'm still hitting it until 1. You know what I mean? 1 second, I'm still hitting it.
You're listening to, hey guys, welcome to my garage. I read books over Lamborghinis, and you're like, skip.
Shut the fuck up, dude. I even Mr. Beast, he has one at the moment. It's like, stop, before you skip this ad, I'm going to teach you how to make a business on Shopify in 1 minute. It's like, nope, not even good enough. There's one ad at the moment that I fucking love, but have you seen the YouTube ad Kayak, like the traveling agency?
Oh, yeah.
That's bomb, bro. That is a great ad.
That's a good ad, actually, because...
I listen to it every time. I won't skip that.
Actually, I think most of the time I get stuck with that ad, though, is like in the middle of a YouTube video and you can't skip it.
Yeah.
Those are the worst.
The 15-second ones?
Yeah, those ones cost a lot of money, too.
Oh, yeah? I bet.
Because if you can put an ad in the middle of a YouTube video and it's non-skippable, you're paying a lot of money to get your video on there.
Oh, because sometimes I get the shits after enough ads. I'll stop watching the video. I've had enough. I'm like, fuck this podcast. Fucking just greedy cunts, bro. You know what I mean? Fuck them.
And I think they changed YouTube now too, because like you used to be able to see where the ads are going to come up. Now it just goes ads starting in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Like,
and even then, like if you skip past an ad, it will play the ad. That's what I find. So if I'm like
one of 6 ads,
I'll just fast forward like 2 minutes because like I already know what they're talking about, and then an ad will come up before I've gotten to my 2 minutes. Yeah, bastards, bro.
They're
bastards.
Smart. Good old YouTube trying to make that money.
So I'm not hating too much because I do want to be able to get monetized one day.
Oh yeah,
on YouTube.
No, of course. I mean, I would like to put content on there, but I think not focus too much on YouTube.
Okay.
Hopefully. But yeah,
it is one, especially in something like you're interested in filmmaking.
Oh yeah,
it's just such a fine pathway. It'd be hard to get off that path. You know,
yeah.
You kind of build a stigma around yourself if you're a YouTube creator. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's not a bad thing.
It's definitely a multi-billion-dollar industry. It could be $1 trillion industry, actually.
I mean, as of lately, I've seen a lot of YouTubers like quitting YouTube just because of the way that YouTube's been running things lately. Because you just got reels and stuff. Like, I mean, I'm guilty of it. If I'm not on TikTok, I'm sometimes on Instagram Reels or the freaking YouTube Reels.
And YouTube Reels is actually the highest paying income for content creators at the moment.
Yeah, because they can put hey, what if you make a video on an item, anything like that?
Oh yeah,
I think there's some crazy revenue with that. I don't know the numbers, but same with TikTok at the moment. If you review a TikTok item and your video gets click-throughs to a drop shipping, then you actually make revenue on that.
Yeah,
which is smarter than drop shipping because you're not setting up a
Oh, you don't have to do the work. Yeah.
Yeah, well, dropship. I've done research into it, but it's just not going to be worth it over a long term because you have to sit there and research, like just small objects or items that you just want to constantly put on, so people click through. Like if you see a TikTok ad about an item, you're 30 seconds later adding that to your dropshipping account.
Yeah,
but
you got to stay relevant too. That's what you mean. Yeah.
So it's not too bad, but it's just.
Well, I signed up for fucking Andrew Tate's Hustlers University one day. Me and my mate Damo were like, bro, should we just see what it is? Fuck it, we'll go $25 each. We'll do 1 month. If it's worth it, we'll stay. If it's not, fuck it, we'll just cancel it. It's $25. So we signed up, and I gave a good 2 days into research as to everything he was talking about in this online course. And yes, I think you probably would have become rich following any of these steps. They were drop shipping, other versions of e-commerce, stock tipping, crypto, things like very obvious ways to make money online. But then an in-depth description on and even video tutorials, how to set up your drop shipping website, what to try and sell. And it gave you advice when it came to drop shipping. Like, you're not trying to sell a product, you're trying to target a customer. So you don't sell like gym bags. You think of everything a gym person would want, and then you sell him every type of product other than gym bags, drink bottles, bands, things like that. And what I got in the end of it is like, yeah, this is a great way to make money, but it's a massive investment. They said it wouldn't be, but you got to pay at least, from what I could tell, $250 a day to have ads up on the internet to get enough revenue to quit your full-time job.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Leading's pretty crazy when you're trying to pay for leads for like YouTube or Instagram ads. It's pretty nuts.
Because you make a dropshipping website, who's gonna see that? No one's gonna see that.
That's it. You
got like
TikTok
probably
ads and stuff.
3% of your Facebook friends that are gonna see it anyway.
Yeah, I mean it's the same with like websites and stuff. Like I've got a website now at the moment, but it's hard for me to plug it anywhere. Because the only way I can plug it is if I post the full link, because I haven't got a domain name yet. Because that's a very annoying thing to try and do and get a good domain name.
And what do you mean by domain name? Like the www dot?
Yeah, so like, for instance, I could use my name with my domain name as my email now. So like it'd be Bryce at Apollo Creative. Because
that's a great name, Apollo Creative. Good job. Good job.
It's kind of like the same sense as the Greek god. Everyone that I have that's on the website at the moment, we're all different creative people. So it's kind of like a workshop for anything you want.
Hang on, let's not go into this because I'm going to get lost in this, alright? Alright, sorry, let me backtrack. I need to learn about this.
Like that whole domain name or like getting your name out there for dropshipping, it's such a pain. Like, yeah, you could do it. You can make money. But there's also so many people doing it.
Yeah.
There's like thousands upon thousands of people.
Yeah.
And why do you think freaking Andrew Tate's making a how-to video?
Yeah.
Those how-to videos have been out, and they're all saying the same thing since 2006. Whenever the internet first started, you could buy shit off freaking
Amazon, eBay, even eBay.
Yeah. As soon as those places started up online shopping, it was just drop shipping.
It would have been good to get in earlier. It's like, it's not like, for everyone listening who's thought of the idea of dropshipping, you can fucking give it a go.
Yeah.
Like, there's no harm in making the website. You know what I mean? There's no harm.
With stuff like that, if you want to do it, do it.
Yeah.
But if, like, you genuinely kind of like, it's like committing to a full lifetime role, 100%. Pretty much.
Yeah, that's why, and let me just say as well, the fucking Hustlers University, you couldn't even cancel your subscription. So you know how he's out here bragging about, you think it's amazing that I've got 300,000 members to sign up? Think about how amazing it is that they're continuing to pay each month. It's because there's no fucking cancelled, bro. Like, I went every day for like a week and a half to this cancel link, and it just doesn't load. It never loads. It must be run out of some shitty little fucking backyard place in Romania where they have no fucking internet at all. And the server's just, you can't access it. So eventually I had to go to the bank and cancel my entire card because
so many companies,
scumbag.
Companies that are like that are usually small companies. But
this guy,
no shade on freaking Adobe, but freaking if you sign up to one of their like creative suites and you pay monthly, don't do it. Pay
Yeah.
yearly.
Okay.
Because if you pay monthly, if you cancel before the end of your year, you pay the rest of that
Oh.
year off anyway.
Oh,
So,
fucking scumbags, bro.
and leaving my old job, like I had so many subscriptions, I just needed to get out of them. And it was like, oh yeah, you got to pay like $400 to finish all these subscriptions. I'm like, you're kidding.
Yeah.
I know if I just let it go, it's just going to take more money out. But if
Yeah.
I cancel it now, it's $400 for me to cancel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a multi-billion-dollar company that still requires you to pay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's technically a yearly subscription. You just pay monthly.
Yeah. Okay.
That's in the fine print.
Scumbag,
So-
bro. I hate shit like that.
But they still make so much money, even if they made it monthly.
Oh,
It'd be so
yeah.
much easier
Yeah.
for people. Like,
Oh.
I just want to try this out.
Mhm.
Yeah, they give you the free trial, but when
Yeah.
companies give you a free trial, it's still quite hard to get out of it sometimes.
Yeah. I had a similar thing where I had a debt once for, I don't even remember what it was, but it was one of those cases where it's like, fuck them, I'm not paying this off. It was some kind of monthly repayment or whatever it was. So I never ever did it. And then it ended up being like $5,000 in the end. And I went to get a loan for something. I think I went to go get a new car or something, and they said no. And they showed me this thing from when I was like a teenager. Fuck. I'm still not going to pay this shit. So I found a agency who ended up I paid them like $1,000 or something.
Yeah.
And they ended up being like, we can get you out of this because they fucking didn't update your phone number when you became 18, or, you know, they fucking didn't include the right wording on the email. You know, they find the tiniest details, and they told me this company got like maybe $300 million worth of debt recovered in the last 12 months.
Yeah. See, companies that are like that are fine. Well, like Netflix, Disney Plus, all that. If you miss a payment, they just close it down.
Yeah.
Temporarily closed. And you just pay it to open it up again. No effect on credit. But then you got ones that are like Adobe, and they just build up, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, for me to cancel this, I need to take out a loan.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think that's like, if you miss a payment, they should just temporarily cancel it, and then
Yeah. Like, there's
You go
nothing
back
wrong
on
with
and
pay
keep
to
going.
play. There's nothing wrong with pay to play. It's a
Yeah.
great system.
yeah,
Yeah.
like Xbox subscriptions or PlayStations.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine. But
Yeah.
not the ones where you sit back and you're like, holy shit. This
Yeah, and it's like, you know,
$400
they're living life on yachts and in mansions, and they're just taking it off us. All right. I'll get back to film. All right. So you left the course you were doing because you didn't find it to be as educational as you were once hoping. What have you done since then? Are you still on the teaching yourself kind of landscape of it?
Yeah, I mean, within film, especially like doing that, and obviously having a more realistic expectations of videography, do want to do more like events or client work rather than just want to be a film director. Yeah, that's a dream. That's my astronaut or doctor dream. But yeah, just commercializing the idea of being more creative.
Yeah.
I learned that at my last job. They're like commercializing art very much. So that whole marketing scheme of creating videography is great, but at the same time I do love storytelling aspect over that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm working for clients and I'm telling their stories, and that's fine, and I want to do that. But yeah, I think I've written 2 short films. Nothing's been progressed with them.
Okay.
Technically, I've been a part of 4 films, and then
Say for me or anyone else who is interested, is there access to them online or anything like that?
2 of them are available. The other ones, they're not even like created yet, and they've been something. I think I wrote them in like end of uni.
Okay.
They're dreams to do. Like, I want to do it. One's like a Western film, and then one's a horror film. So they're something that I do need to have a bit of a backing to go like, yeah, they're short films, but it's gonna cost me a little bit to get them off the ground.
Is it possible for me to put a link for anything in description? Because I'm also curious to watch something myself.
Yeah, I could definitely find. I got my high school one and my uni project one. I do have. I don't know if I still have my assignment from uni.
Okay.
But the only 2 that I actually had most creative work was year 12 and then my other one. But yeah, the rest are all kind of like just little videos. They're nothing like creative, super creative or like directing, but yeah. I can definitely find some links for you.
Yeah, sweet. Because I want to have, just for myself anyway, a reference, but I like to include everyone listening as well in this story as well.
Pre-warning, they were like edgy, not edgy, but like teen me going through some shit. So they're pretty dark films.
Yeah,
they're
good.
not.
They tell a story of time, and to be honest, that's a teenage mindset anyway.
My theme of storytelling now is nowhere near the same because I want to. If I make something dark, I want to find the joke in it and write it that way rather than this is
life is shit, I hate it.
My first film that I got did in high school, because it was in high school in art, everyone was doing like some crazy dark deep things.
That makes sense, actually.
So instead of creating some wacky film, I created a very dark film, but it's pretty cool. It was like have you ever seen Fairly Odd Parents?
The TV show, the cartoon.
Yeah.
I love...
Is it Fairly...
No, that's Fairy Godparents.
Oh, yeah.
Fairly Odd Parents, I have no idea what that is.
No, that I was thinking that one. Fairly Godparents. I'm trying to think of old cartoons. Do you remember, like, any of the kids' aspects? You never saw the parents' heads? Like Dexter's Laboratory and stuff like that. I'm trying to think of Billy and Mandy's. Did they have heads cut off?
I think so. You know what they had it in? They had it in that cartoon where it was all the kids that were like... They were like a society of children, like...
Codename Kids Next Door.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Yes. So, like, just those sorts of... And Ed, and Eddie did it as well, like the parents. You barely saw them, but when you did, you never saw their faces.
I never even thought of that, actually.
Because I don't know if it was, like, just a storytelling aspect for those shows, but I took that aspect. Took a dark route, but it was about like domestic violence.
Oh yeah.
But its effect on kids. And it was just verbal violence.
I want to see this.
But it was like it was cool because like the first thing I did was I don't want the parents to be shown. They're the ones being like crazy and horrific, but no heads of the parents. So it's all the kids' perspective, and it was like all cut off heads from the parents, and I was like, I like this.
I like this too.
And then it took a deep, dark turn. So I had like some fun themes behind it, but then it was like, But I think that's what also got me. I was like, I'm not picking on the parents. I'm not picking on domestic violence. I'm picking on like a certain aspect. Like, it doesn't need to be physical, it doesn't need to be verbal, but there's always different terms of domestic violence, and it can always affect someone. And I chose to focus on the kid's perspective of it, and not gender related any which way.
Yeah,
it was both. It was kind of like a war between the mum and dad, and then the kids are affected. So it's no picking on anyone.
Love it.
Try to be as safe as possible. But
yeah, love it. That's cool.
But yes, no, that was my first try in trying to make something creative with storytelling. Actually, no, that's not the first. Do you know how Matt did that comic book strip for you? Yeah. Since like year 8, me and Matt have been writing like this story, this comic book of
Is it the same one that he uploads photos every now and then to Instagram of like a mob of blokes or something like that?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Nice.
I've just been impressed. It's like we haven't done anything too crazy, but I've just been impressed that we've stuck with these characters and we've written them so well. Like, we did this thing before we knew Marvel did it. We wrote the end of the whole series. The show.
Yeah.
Well, our dream was it to be a show, but we just wrote the end of this story and then filled in the rest.
Yeah.
So we're like, this is cool. We'll do this. And
That's
then we
very
found out
cool.
that's what Marvel did. We're like, it makes sense.
Well, I've got a comic book in mind, and that's what I was trying to get Matt to draw for me. I've kind of done the same thing. I've got the last scene. That's the whole reason for the show. I have the very last scene, and now I've got to fill in. I even got to make up a story. I don't even have a story. I don't have anything. I just have a scene at the end.
Start somewhere. That's good. I mean, that's
I don't think Matt's going to be doing it anymore. He doesn't seem too interested.
Oh no, just
doing it.
Oh, well, now he's moved into his own house, so
I might hit him up again.
Done,
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, or tell me to do it, and because he's on my list of creatives. I'll just subcontract it to him. Be like, hey, look, this is a job you got to do.
All right. I want to talk about this. So tell me. I'm starting to get an understanding of what this website you've got is, but where'd you come up with the idea originally? Is there anything like it out there?
I would say there's there's definitely stuff like it, but it's pretty much, you know how like you just always, you riff job ideas between friends every time you see each other or you get drunk, you riff that. And this is something that I've always said, and I'm like, I just want to create kind of like a hub of creative people, not working under one person or one thing. Kind of like it's kind of like a Indeed job find, but for it's kind of like an air tasker. It's like tasking. So I've got a guy that does screen printing and large format like prints for like, he cuts up logs in Springwood, like up the mountains, and then prints that log onto a sheet of canvas. And as simple as that sounds, those prints are some of the most beautiful pieces of art I've ever seen, because you can see each and individual line from like when that tree started to where it was cut in half, and you're like,
that's a good idea.
It's and just as simple as something like that. Like he does that for like wildflowers as well. So yeah, I've got him as well. Like it's not like I'm getting paid for them doing work. I'm just kind of trying to find a way for everyone to be found.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm kind of using it as.
Cool. Yeah.
So if I do a videography work or advertising event work, I'll use Apollo Creative as like the company name. But then the rest of them, they're all kind of got links to their own websites and what they do. It's just kind of a way for me to.
Or is it? It's a physical. Yeah, it's a physical location of your own mental social network. Yeah, you know what I mean. That's awesome.
Network of all the creative people I've worked with. Obviously, I'm trying to get a few of the boys on there as well, being like, look, you know how we always wanted to start this business, which I remember I held off doing this because I've tried to get this business done and still haven't got that business that I was holding off for, but it's almost there and I'm trying to get that one done. But I can still add that to the creative, Apollo Creative, because it's still a creative industry that I can put under one umbrella. But yeah, there's definitely stuff out there for it, because it's just an amalgamation of advertising or marketing and then artwork creation or custom works and
you could expand that so big, because I have so many ideas of just, to be honest, sometimes just random shit all day. Like my brain just fills my fucking mind with just random useless shit, but every now and then something creative will pop in that would be like, imagine if this table was vinyl wrapped, you know what I mean? Like I might think that, and it's like, well, how the fuck am I going to do that? But a website like yours could find someone who does vinyl wrapping, or does posters or printing and things like that. Yeah,
that's pretty much it. Like I want to, obviously I want to use the name for when I do my videos and stuff, but I want to help people find the creative solution they want. So it's, like I've got 2 guys, technically I do it as well. I do web design as well a little bit, so I help create websites. But I got one guy that just wants to create websites for people I know. So I'm like, I'm just going to put you on my website. If I get someone that wants this done, I'm just going to give them your details, and that's how they do it.
Nice.
Like, I don't want to be paid commission for getting you a job or anything like that, because most of the time, if they get a website through you, they're probably going to want advertising.
That's what I was about to say too. So you have mad revenue.
Yeah. So I've been looking at building packages. So it definitely sounds expensive telling some of the people I know, like my family, when they're like, oh, I want to... everyone I know is trying to start businesses nowadays. And that was the idea, to create a business based around helping people create businesses, because I don't really want to just start a business based on a product or an item, because it's quite hard, and you do,
and it's mundane as well. It's very tedious work. Like, it's a very finite,
and you find yourself investing a lot, and you're gonna lose a lot before you start to see anything come back. And that's with any business. Like, I'll probably see that if I'm buying more cameras and equipment and everything.
Yeah, well, that's definitely the podcast. That's what I'd deal with.
But yeah, so it's just, I think of it as like trying to build sort of like a cloud network for just anything you need in a creative aspect. Hopefully.
And with film, I love your idea, because I can imagine on any movie there are, to be honest, you see it in the credits. You see so many different businesses being labelled to have participated in this. But imagine the outsourcing that you need. You need balloons. You're gonna have to find a fucking person that fucking sets up balloons. You need fucking. It's like weddings. It's like you need at least some places they'll do they'll do the flowers, the tables, they'll do everything. But it's like you're that full package for. And film's a good baseline to focus on, I guess.
Yeah.
Film, because you need scenery in film.
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking too. Because weddings is a really good one because, for instance, I can do the videography and the photography for it. Might need a extra hand or a crew to do all of that, but then I've got a person that does sign writing. Get them to also get commission for doing all the signage for the wedding.
Yeah,
it takes a lot of stress off. Everyone, and
great.
If I can provide something that I think that's what I'm trying to focus on. Like you click on the website to look at something you might want or you're interested in, and then it pairs with another item that another person does. So it's rather than just being selfish and be like, oh yeah, I'll just do the videos and the web building and all that. And someone goes on there, I want advertising done. I'm like, oh, I'll do all the advertising. I'll get some stills done for you, some photos so you can put up, or product photography. But you might need a new website to put all this on. So here's a contact. Here's the guy we have, and this is what he does.
Well, I've got a I don't know so much about what your friend does, but if you're interested, I have a friend that I can hook you up with who he doesn't necessarily build someone's website, but he focuses on the marketing side of it. Is that what your friend's doing?
Not really. I've technically been doing that myself, using tools like Wix and Squarespace. Like, I get to see the analytics. I'm guessing that's what he does. Like,
he understands the analytics sides of clickbait and product search and things like that. Yeah,
and going into like leads for finding customers for your business. I've done a little bit of that, and the guy that builds the websites, he kind of wants to get into it, but it's nothing that any of us specialize in, so it'd be good. But yeah, it's...
Because that's kind of like another avenue, you know? You have your guy who... There's your mate who builds websites. He's more focused on the layout of how it looks and how it's appealing and things like that, or what's he focusing on when it comes to building a website?
I think it's a little bit of both. Definitely... Well, I mean, I did a degree, like I got a Cert 3 in information design or information and digital design / communications. It's a paragraph of a certificate. But I focused on UI, which is like user interface. So that's one big thing that I'm always like, if we're going to do it at Polo, we want like the cleanest, simplest website. Because if you click on something and you want something from that website, that should be right in your face.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing that I know that he focuses on too, like simplicity. Like if you offer something, that offer should be on the base, like the front of your website. It is a bit harder with Apollo Creative because we've got so many things we offer. But I have a button for most of the things that you want. If like quite literally the tagline is thinking of starting or creating a new business, or want to freshen up your current one, this is what we offer, and it's got like web design, graphic design, and then photography and product photography. That was just for the website section, so it's kind of like if you want marketing, this is what we can do. If you just want commissions, this is what we can do. So mine's a little bit more.
Yours is so many different avenues and branches.
So it's been quite hard to try and simplify that, but yeah, he definitely focuses on trying to get it as minimal and as straightforward. Like I've already worked on one for an industrial epoxy flooring company. And like he just wants people to contact him. All I did was create 2 pages, a contact page. So when someone puts their contact information in there, it sends him a notification on his Wix app on his phone, and then compresses that information into an email and sends him an email to his business email. And the front page is quite literally just a list of his jobs and what he does. That's it. Clean, simple, epoxy, industrial flooring.
Straight to the point. Yeah, that's what it should be. Because especially if you're after something like, you kind of have to pick and choose your battles in that as well. Because you have like, you want a tradesman, you need a tradesman, you know.
Yeah.
But then if you want something a bit more creative, like you're offering, you can have a bit more in-depth description and different things that you offer and things. Yeah. I guess you pick your poison with who you want to do that with. Yeah.
A lot of the like key things is just like a contact page. Like just got a question or have something that you want us to do. Contact us.
Yeah.
Like on the client I've already worked with, they just wanted simple. They wrote out a full paragraph for me. I just minimized it and simplified it and just listed all the types of jobs he works on. So like garages, like kitchens and stuff like that. Like I wanted to get all of it onto one page but not look over cluttered.
Yeah.
And that's something I wish I could do for my website.
Okay.
Because that's something that's the only thing he offers, and if you're clicking on it, you're already interested because you're thinking about a renovation.
Yeah.
Or you've got something in mind. And if you see your thing you have in mind on the list, you can be like, oh shit. That's it. I want that.
And how good would that be for that guy? Because it's like, oh, I've never thought about it. Maybe I should upgrade the garage roller door while I'm at it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. I love it. I love when people are able to take multiple different skills they've learned and try and combine them into one. And it looks like that's what you're doing with your certificate that you did, and your experience in the filmmaking that you went to uni for, and your own personal experience.
Yeah.
You're creative, expressive with artistic drawings and paintings. Like, you're kind of putting it all together into one.
It is very hard because I'm just trying to find either like my number one thing within like creating business is trying to find a niche. As soon as you find your niche and you can do that, you're going to be successful.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know if it's my brain constantly overloading, being like, oh, I don't want to be in that niche. I don't want to be in that niche.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like compile it into a big one, which is a no-no. Like, I'm still trying to find a perfect niche for to be most successful. But I've got a platform for it, so that's what I'm most proud of. And I can just edit it and change it how I want, so it's not like I'm stuck being that. Like, I can niche it on cars if I really want, which that's a big thing again. Everyone's getting back into cars. I could just do custom car videos and it wouldn't be that great. But that's like, as soon as you find a niche and as soon as people already know what they want in that niche, they go to you.
Well, I think that I've been thinking about this a bit too. Niches make sense because it takes 10,000 hours to become a master, a basic level master at any task.
Oh, yeah.
So people have their niches based on the experience they put in. But I feel like with the way that the internet has grown, especially over the last 5 years, especially with long format conversations like podcasting and the access to documentaries, everyone's just gaining so much knowledge and everyone's experience is branching out so quickly that niches, I think, are on their way out a little bit, which is why...
Well, in saying that, there's also just so many more niches being created at the same time.
Yeah, true.
But they're even more niche.
Yeah, you're right.
If that makes any sense. They're getting even...
It goes both ways.
Thinner and tighter. Like, they either just don't exist or they're just so minuscule. You're like, I'm doing...
But you're so right. But I think both of ours make sense because the niches are going so diverse and finite that one person's niche is to access everyone else's niche, and that's kind of like your position you're in now. Your niche might be the access to all the niches out there.
Oh yeah. That's definitely like I had one of the best sort of niche things I worked in was just doing custom pet artworks. Like that was a crazy niche. People want that. As soon as you find a niche for something like that, they just go, oh, I want that. And all I did was just one day draw a sketch of my dog with a cowboy hat on and a bandana on. Just put a little shadow.
I think I've seen that. I've seen that.
Made that, and then I just got heaps of people going like, do you do this? Do you create other pets? And I just
I do now.
Yeah, I do now. How much you want? And I did just a bunch of different pet designs, just basic, even just a drawing of a pet. People wanted that. Like, obviously, you put a little bit of your own creative flair on it. If you want to characterize it, you can do that. But yeah, that was one thing that I was surprised with. I just drew that as a little bit of fun. And then
that's cool.
I had people being like, you do pet drawings or digital design?
People love their pets, They absolutely love their pets.
Oh yeah, they're crazy.
It's one of the biggest actual industries, actually. Domestic animals, one of the biggest industries in the world, I think I read something in January. I think it said like 1/3 of the entire population is equivalent. So there's 1/3 of the population equivalent in domestic animals than there are people.
Oh yeah.
So some people might have 0, but some people might have 5.
Oh yeah, I can definitely see that. And then with like how many puppy farms there are and everything like that, so many. And then just as simple as like dog food.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So.
Yeah. And then you got dog training, and then you got.
I used to be able to get dog food for like $18. Now it's costing me like $35 for the same bag of dog food I got when I first got my dog. But yeah, no, it's
even pet beds and things like that. Pet beds is a massive clickbaiting, what you call drop shipping industry.
Well,
like,
I've seen people. That's another niche. Just custom dog beds. That's a crazy thing I've seen.
Yeah.
Like I go down rabbit holes looking at some of these niches, and they're nuts. The
There's
same
one
with
lady-
dog photography. Like that's crazy.
That's a cool one. It's one lady on Colin Jackie O. Actually, it was a guy. He started a business, and I've said the number 3. So every time I've said a number so far, but there was 3. He made $3 million in. I think it was net money, so it wasn't like his profit at the end.
Yeah.
But in dog beds and cat beds, and he never once seen one of them. He just drop shipped it straight to their house from the website. He made $3 million.
That's nuts.
Revenue, is that the right word for it?
Revenue? Yeah.
Yeah.
I suck with words as well.
Yeah. I had a thing I wanted to bring up to you.
Yeah,
You reminded me. First question though would be, what do you find the most enjoyment? Like, film or paintbrush and canvas type of art?
See, that's what I don't know. There's something. The process of creating the film is one of the most fun processes that I've ever been a part of. Like short film, doesn't matter if it's like large scale, small. Like I think I've tried to sign up to like things where I can just go and be an extra for a day.
Okay.
And like about 1,000 people sign up, so it's hard to get into those things. But just being a part of what they're creating or what story they're trying to tell is great. With that, yeah, like obviously seeing the end product still, like getting that off your chest is great. But there's something about the stress of trying to get that film done and pushed out. There's a reward behind it. Painting, like that sort of creative avenue, yeah, that's great. Get to escape. It's kind of like gaming for me sometimes. Like I just sit there and either draw, sketch something, or paint something. My goal last year, which I did pretty well at, was pretty much draw or paint or do something creative every day. Like I'll just sketch something or paint something little. And I got really into like watercolors because I hated watercolors for so long because it was such like a typical thing. But I like got more into that. It's more therapeutic.
Okay.
I'd love to get more of my own style. Like you see artists and they have a style, they have their own. Like you go to that artist for that artwork. And that's what I appreciated about you coming to me and like, you saw the artwork and you're like, hey, look, if I want this, can I change it? I was like, yeah, of course. Like,
yeah.
Like with Ryan and the same thing, like I will personalize the artwork to what you want it, but it's still in my style.
Your art, yeah.
Like that was the coolest part because I've had ones where like doing the dog paintings, like I'm maybe a little bit out of my comfort zone. Like I'm doing a random cat, dog, whatever, and giving them a little bit of cool like flavor or like making them a character. That's fun. Yeah. But when I get to sit there and paint an artwork that's like my style and then send it off, there is something cool about that. But I don't know, that it's pretty hard. Probably creating like a film or a video. Yeah. Just because of how many hands on and you get to be mechanical with the cameras. There's all those little niche little things that you get to learn about it. Like the cinematography of it and what goes on behind the scenes. Like there's so much effort to what people see in like a 30-second video.
Like tell me about it.
Like I love that there's like that little hidden feature behind it. And painting's kind of the same. Like I think I layered your painting about 5 to 6 different times before. Like there's a lot of paint on that before you saw your final product.
Wow.
But I think just because I get to be a little bit more broad with all the skills I get to use in film.
Mm-hmm.
Like I get to sit down at a desk, I get to be hands-on, I get to just craft something, because sometimes I'm like, oh, I want this to be on the set. That's what I did. My first film, I made like full brick wall just for this neon sign, and I couldn't afford a neon sign. So I made it out of foam, and then I just got like this cheap LED lighting and created a neon sign that way.
Cool.
So I created half a brick wall just for that one shot.
See,
And I
that's
loved it.
amazing.
Like,
That's
just
amazing.
yeah. There's something about being able to use so many different skills, or like learn new skills in the one go. I think film is something I'm a little bit more into. Like obviously if you get like a bigger role in film, you just do that one role. So it's a little bit more unattractive, but just doing little client work. So you get to do everything on your own. You're the writer, director, producer, cinematographer. That's all. That's all you.
And then by coincidence, you just become bricklayer. You know what I mean? You become
exactly.
little things
And,
like that.
I mean, to be fair, like I've had some crazy jobs. Worked in a cinema, like Hoyt's. And I've worked in a trade. Did like freaking industrial flooring, epoxy, and waterproofing. And then retail, creative marketing, and then painting instructor.
Yeah, I love that one. Painting instructor was a great job. I do want to get to that.
It's like a weird, none of the jobs go into either of them. The last two kind of did, because I like did the painting, and then I designed paintings as well as created content for them. So like UCG, which is like user generated videos for like Instagram and TikTok. But yeah, that was none of them ever went hand in hand. I didn't get one job because of the one prior to that. But hopefully.
But it's funny because you will actually gain skills in every aspect of work to help out with any other range of skill. But what I was thinking was, it's funny how the storytelling of film, which is what makes it so fun to do, wraps up everything that we opened up our conversation about. Because it's like, and when I say wrapped it up, I'm not going to wrap the conversation up, but like stories psychologically are the way that you retain information. As you said, like a kid, even when we're talking about like kids shows and the way you depicted that no adult heads in the film, it's like,
because it wasn't about that.
It just wasn't about that. But like even for these cartoons, the kids are going to learn, and they're going to keep in information. Same as the Bible, you're going to pick it apart and learn from it more than you're going to learn from if someone just told you the answer. You know what I mean? The story might be love thy neighbor, and here's an example of it. You're going to listen to the story, and that's what you're going to get, the story. It's funny how the human brain just does that.
Yeah, and like, I mean, you get it in both art and film, but like in like English, in whatever year 4 to, I mean, no, like year 8 to 12, you overanalyze everything. And to be fair, creating films and art, in some sense, you are creating something for someone to overanalyze, like you did in, what did this portray when John picked up this cup? In some sense, you are doing that when creating those creative like film or artworks. You are doing that to a certain extent. But some of the most powerful storytelling is coming up with your own like backstory, but not showing the viewer. So it leaves the viewer or the person that's viewing an artwork or creative medium to interpret their own meaning and story to it. I find that very powerful.
Well, that's the big difference between a book story and a movie story, like Harry Potter, for example. To me, reading Harry Potter was so much easier because I've seen it. If I hadn't have watched the movie, I don't really know if I would have enjoyed it, especially because I just don't think, for me, reading fiction isn't my favorite thing to do. I'd rather read non-fiction. But I can see that if you've never seen the movie, your imagination can just come up with the craziest description of what a person looks like, or backstory behind characters. And the same thing happens in even in film, because you get to imagine. I know what you're saying. You're saying, like, say, why did the screen pan at the sky for 3 seconds? Because, and then your interpretation could be because this person was lost in thought, and it's like crazy.
We do create that sometimes, but then sometimes we're doing it on purpose, like an artsy shot on purpose, just to get the viewer a little bit tied in to be like, oh, why'd they do that?
Yeah.
Not-
I
not
find that I'm
always
getting better at
immediate,
it too. If I watch a show or a movie, I'm almost able to predict the big twist in the end. Like even if it's the tiniest detail, you know what I mean?
That
Because
is-
they've planted that in my head for me to
Yeah,
grasp on.
That's a big thing I do a lot. And I have to stop myself because if I'm watching a show with like my fiance or anything,
Yeah.
and I predict a movie at the end or how it's gonna go out, she always gets so annoyed.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
from that shot just there, they clearly just foreshadowed that person's gonna die. And she's like,
yeah.
how do you know that? I'm like,
Because of the way,
Watch.
just because of the way it just brushed past them, the way that
they mentioned death while
yeah,
deadpan to this one character. You're like,
Yeah.
well, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
Like, how else?
yeah.
I'm like, I'm not just sitting there enjoying the story. I'm decoding it
You're
at the
like
same
reverse
time.
analyzing it.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I do feel bad sometimes spoiling
Yeah.
it, but then sometimes I'm just like,
But it feels good, eh? It feels
Oh, yeah.
good, yeah. You just
One-
gotta show it off, dude.
the hardest movies to do that to are like Tarantino films.
Yeah.
Because they're so sporadic.
yeah.
They're non-linear. I love
Yeah.
that. And then that's what he does too. Like he writes these crazy in-depth not writes them, but he has these stories for the characters that you don't know or understand. Like I actually saw some recently on it. It was have you seen
I haven't seen too many Quentin Tarantino movies, so it's...
oh no, well he's only created 8.
Yeah, I've probably seen
Like,
3, I think. 2
yeah.
or 3.
So he's like, he only ever wants to create 9, I
Oh, yeah?
believe, or 10.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it's 9. I'll get in trouble by Tarantino fans if I say the wrong number. But in Inglourious Bastards, that's the one where they're hunting down the Nazis. One of the main characters has a scar across his neck, and it's referenced as it's like a noose scar,
Okay.
but it's not explored.
Yeah.
It's not told. There's
Yeah.
no backstory behind that scar. You're just, as a viewer, you see this character with a crazy scar on his neck,
Yeah.
and then that's left up to you to
Yeah.
interpret.
That's
And you're like-
awesome.
And I love that.
Yeah.
Because he shows you this one scene. There's not much talking. There's a little bit of back and forth between characters, but you're busy staring at this scar on this neck of freaking Brad Pitt because you're
Yeah.
like, what the happened?
Yeah.
And then in his other most famous one is the freaking Pulp Fiction with the case. Have you seen Pulp
Yeah,
Fiction?
yeah.
And it's just this
Yeah.
case that's got a light in it.
Yeah.
And it glows, and you're like, what's in that case?
Yeah.
And he doesn't ever tell you. He just leaves that up to you as a viewer
Yeah, it's so
to
cool.
make up your own theories. And I
Yeah.
love when people do that. So many like directors that go down that path, but not as much as Tarantino. He leaves it.
Yeah.
He tells his own story, but then he wants you to create a story as well.
Yeah.
I love that.
He's the goat, eh? Would you consider him to be the goat of filmmaking?
I think he has good films. He's not the best. I don't think he sees himself as the best either. I mean, it's hard to get down that path because
Yeah.
some of them are old freaking Hollywood creeps and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
and
yeah. I know what you're
I don't
saying.
like that industry
Yeah, I
that
know what
much.
you're saying.
But,
It's a touchy literally a touchy
Yeah,
subject.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Straight is. But yeah, no, he's definitely one of the best directors. Like, it's annoying that he hasn't created more, but it's good that he hasn't. He's
Yeah.
not
That's-
oversaturating.
and that's
his
that's
name.
his element to the movie.
Yeah.
He's leaving it up to the mystery of the
You see a
interpreter to be
Tarantino
like,
film, you're like, I'm gonna
why
see that.
is he not making more movies? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's another gift he's given to everyone. That's like, I'm leaving it up to you to figure it out.
Actually, he probably is the only director to have that name, like that stigma. It's a Tarantino film, so
Yeah, true.
you're gonna see it because of
Yeah.
his style. Like, there's a few like Martin Scorsese and stuff like that you'll be like, oh, I know their style, I want to see their style. But a few of them,
But you can't let a Quentin Tarantino movie
yeah.
go. Like, I tried to watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with a bird once, and she was not interested in it.
yeah.
So I fucking left with her. But like, I would have enjoyed to stick that out. I would have
Yeah.
enjoyed
Some of them are like, they give you those like just, they are show don't tell movies. Some of them are, and then they do get boring for a bit. But he likes to make some pretty grand
Yeah.
finishing. So
Yeah.
that's always a thing. It's like if you're watching a Tarantino film, make sure you watch it because
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
he doesn't. They're not boring films.
Yeah, I know.
They're so
Kill
chaotic.
Bill and all these ones.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
fucking some of the best movies ever.
Django,
Ever.
man, that's
Oh
like,
yeah, great movie.
and arguably a lot of people don't like Hateful Eight, but I
I haven't
love.
seen that one.
It's like a Western film, and it's eight people that hate each other.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it, and they're
Oh,
stuck
yeah.
in a cabin in the middle of snow,
Oh yeah.
based in Wild West times. So
Nice.
yeah, and I just love it how it's all technically all connected in a way. Like his stories, they're anthologies,
Okay.
kind of, in a because they're using the same actors,
Yeah,
but in
yeah.
different scenarios. So like, have you seen American Horror Story?
Yeah.
Yeah, same actors, but
Yeah,
in different
yeah,
seasons
yeah.
they're playing different characters
Yeah.
because you love that character or that actor.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna watch it again because you know that
Yeah.
he's
I
playing a
found that
different role.
confusing when I started watching American Horror Story. It's like
Yeah.
I thought this lady was meant to be
Yeah,
a mother. How come in season 2 she's not? You know what I mean?
But
Took me like 2 or 3 seasons to even work
but
that
it is
out.
confusing. But I end up loving that
Mm.
storytelling where it's anthology instead of being a trilogy.
Yeah,
Like a Haunting of a Hill House.
Mm-hmm.
They did that. So Haunting of a Hill House and then Bly Manor, anthology.
Mm-hmm.
Same actors, just playing different roles.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
weird, but at the same time, I'm like, this kind of cool because
Yeah, it is
she
cool.
played a really good ghost in the early one. Now she's a good maid in this one.
Yeah.
Why not?
Very cool.
But yeah,
I love it. I think of myself as pretty creative. I do. I'm
Yeah.
definitely noticing it more as I get older.
definitely can say that you are creative. Like
Thank you.
between you and Ryan, he loves to sit there and draw. Yeah, he's got a little bit of creative in him, but you're actually executing on a plan and you're doing a podcast.
Yeah.
And people might go, oh, it's not that creative. The creative thought process you have to go in to create and
Yeah.
publish or post something like this.
Yeah. Well, I actually journaled about this recently. I was kind of depicting what creativity was, and I seen it as creativity is an idea, because I'm on this path of where I think that ideas are from outside of you that come towards you. I see them as more like Joe Rogan has a very similar concept where you don't create ideas, they come to you. Does
Yeah.
that make sense? So I see creativity as that, but it means nothing if you don't do anything with it. It takes hard work, discipline, consistency, because no one necessarily, especially like say editing a podcast, great
Oh, yeah.
example. It's fucking hours of just
Oh, yeah.
editing, clicking, non-stop doing it. It's the same as even when it comes to like journaling something that you might have a creative idea on, you actually have to get it out of
Oh,
you.
yeah.
And it takes discipline to be creative.
Yeah, that's what this whole book's filled with, just bullshit.
Yeah.
Creative. Like, I don't think of creative as, like, when you were younger, you always like creative painting or being an artist. It's not, I think it's about your thought process.
Yeah.
How you've broken something down. Even if you might think of something too structured isn't creative, definitely is. To
Yeah.
a certain, like, if you have had to break that down to, like, a marketing aspect or in some sort of, like, when you think of creative, when I say creative way, people go, oh, like, colorful way. I'm like, no, like,
Yeah.
you've had to work something out
Yeah.
in
It's
such
like,
an
it's like
obscure
a
way.
process. Creative
Yeah.
might be another way of saying process towards an end goal. You know what I mean? Like,
I think of it as thinking outside the box. How often do you think outside the box?
yeah.
You're like, oh, no, that's just thinking outside. That's creative thinking.
Yeah, it is creative
That's
thinking.
you trying to think of a solution that was probably the worst or the most workaround way to solve that problem, but it's in your own way. So that's creative problem solving.
Yeah.
It's not throwing colors into that creative solution. It's
It is thinking outside
It's
the box, actually.
putting
You're right.
together the most, like, what's it called? Like, Frankenstein of a
Yeah.
item. Like,
Yeah.
either you're creating video in the most Frankenstein way, or you're creating like a desk in the most Frankenstein way.
Yeah.
You've done that.
Yeah.
In such a.
Because I guess if one person, say for example, made a video,
Yeah.
it's creative expression. But then if someone else copied their video and followed their tutorial, they wouldn't be considered creative, because even though they're doing the same process, it's putting your own process in play that
Yeah.
makes creativity. That's what creativity is.
Well, it depends on where you go. If you're paying homage to a video, so like you're following their same storytelling steps or their same creative steps, but yeah, you're just putting your flavor or your style onto it. I'd say that's enough for it to be your creative thinking.
You have to
but
definitely
yes.
put your own opinion or your own expression into
But
something.
yeah, as soon as you're taking that guy that took all those TikTok videos and he quite literally just read them out line for line as other people's and then acted the same way. That's not creative.
That's not creative. Yeah.
That's you. Like he might be like, oh no, but I'm setting up the phone and I'm rewriting all your. No,
that's not creative. Yeah, I'll
no,
consider that to be more like you're doing the steps in order to make a TikTok. It doesn't make you creative. Yeah,
exactly. Creativity is all shapes and forms and like there's no creativity. I wrote like it's doesn't have a label. And I think that's where a lot of people get stuck with people that are stuck in those office jobs and that's be all and end all for them. Creativity is not you needing to paint on a weekend.
Yeah, it's the wanting. It's, to be honest, sometimes I don't even think of it as wanting. It's like it's consistency that helps creativity. You have to put in the work when behind being creative. Being creative means nothing. It's like the saying, a dream means nothing if you leave it on a pillow. Okay. The same thing gets translated to creativity at the same time.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I think we have very different levels of creativity. Levels, obviously, I find you to be more creative, but I mean, like, we have different platforms of creativity because you're interested in filmmaking for the story, right? But one thing that I would like to get into in the future in my industry would be I want to continue being a install supermarket refrigeration technician. Yeah. And then running the project and you know being the top dog. But I also want to involve camera work and record a timeline and illustrate not a story, but it is kind of like a story to advertise to customers. And it's like, this is what we can produce, and it's just timelines and good shots and good angles and good welding and things like that.
People love that, like, day in the life stuff.
Yeah.
If you can be a company and be as transparent on social media, like TikTok with that pool guy, just sit there and watch it for hours because he's just draining and cleaning a pool. And if you can find like some sort of satisfying thing in your job that you reckon people that you like, even if you think you might be the only one that likes it and you find it satisfying, there's about 1 million other people out there that's probably going to find that satisfying too.
That's true.
And I think a lot of people just miss some of those things. Like if I'm doing something, I should probably be like displaying or videoing my painting more often or stuff like that. But like I just I'm on a different path. I'm on a path and I'm still going down it. It's a hard path.
It is. It's hard. It's hard to separate what you think others would like from what you like in anything. You know, that's why I was actually really excited to do this podcast because I've usually for every single person I'll have 30 or so bullet points that I want to get through because I know the person well enough and we've had a tiny little bit of discussion about that thing and I want to go back into it, or I want the other person to express something that they've once told me before. But I didn't have anything that I could actually write down for you because we've never had an in-depth conversation. Nothing like this anyway. Nothing like this to this length. And that's what I was excited about. It's like, let's figure this out together. Whatever comes out, comes out.
I love it.
And I didn't have to worry about what I think people would want me to ask, what I think the other person wants me to ask. I got to just, I can say what I want to say, you can say what you want to say, you know?
Yeah, no, exactly.
It's good.
Like, the podcast has been on my list of things to do for so long. Like, I've even wanted to create my own podcast. But in the same sense, like, you want to find something that's different. And I like this, like, I feel like I'm interrogated at the same time as I, like, get to express myself as much as possible.
That's kind of what I'm trying to do. Like, it's like, I always would, I don't want to be an interviewer, you know what I mean? If I wanted to be an interviewer, I could chase that as a career. I'm here to fucking say what I want and learn about you. That's my whole premise.
No, I love that idea. Because I think when I first wanted to do podcasts, I wanted to do a game, like the game was the focus.
Yeah, okay.
And
Yeah.
that game is meant to like expose not expose, but get that person out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
And instead of it just being like a face-to-face interview, because that's something that I see done so well so many places.
Wait, can you explain that a bit more? When you say a game so it's not like a face-to-face interview, what is this thing you're talking about?
I think someone else did it and I was annoyed.
Yeah.
It was like beer pong. Just a game of beer pong.
Great idea, dude.
And it's kind of like the Max Mofo and stuff, where they do the
I've never seen
cold
anything
ones.
like that.
Cold ones, they just get drunk, sit around at
Oh
table,
yeah, I have seen that.
and they
yeah,
just
yeah.
rant.
Yeah,
And
that's a
it's
great one.
amazing.
Yeah. And they have to do shit like a milk challenge or something
Yeah.
random, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Good
Or
old
a cinnamon
Max Mofo.
challenge, like shit. It's almost like a throwback to the old Max Mofo in a way, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they just sit around and do.
Oh, and they do they have to they get pissed drunk and then they'll make up a story and they'll send it off to a person who makes
animator, yeah.
t-shirts and then like 2 months later they'll actually
So
get
good.
the t-shirts and they'll sell them as merch.
Yeah, that would be
Great
like
show.
the next. Oh, it's.
Yeah.
I think that thing what they've created, it's not on accident, but it's just it's on the spot.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
great. And that's why I love this,
Yeah.
because it's just
Yeah.
on the spot what we're doing
Yeah.
right now. It's here.
I try not to stick to a narrative either.
Yeah, it does,
I listen to some podcasts, like there's this one guy, Patrick Bet David, and again, the link's in the description to anyone listening because it's definitely worth a watch. Every single episode, he has a point. You know what I mean? He has something that he wants to get out. So he's very political and he's a 100 millionaire. He's super successful, and he has a philosophy on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe, he lets the other co-hosts all pick apart and say their opinion, and then it's like he always has the answer. He's just such a smart guy, and that's never anything that I want to try and focus on because I know nothing. You know what I mean? Like I know a little bit about everything, which makes me a master of nothing.
No, but that is my do I actually have it written down? What is it?
That's another thing I wanted to get to. I wanted to talk about what. Let's just talk about this for a little bit. What is the point you have of the journal for? Like, what do you use it for?
Well, I bought it just in case, if you had a question about a business that I didn't understand or something that someone else is working on my behalf. I have like answers in here for it.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
answers, but it's like what I'm currently working on and what it's pretty much just a journal for every little thing that I've thought about and I want to eventually work on. But it's listed in priorities.
Okay.
It's like I know this is unreachable, but it's still there.
Okay.
Like some of the short films I've written, like they're still in the back of my mind, so I constantly jot them down every once in a while to be like, get to this when you can.
Yeah.
It's not something like urgent. Like even if it's just you write one little line for something, that's fine this year. That's something that seems like it's going to be done when you can afford to put money into a project like that.
And it's the right steps too. You got to spend a long time working on it before you get to your right now. We're going to spend money on it.
And to be honest, it's proven pretty good because same with what we did with that comic book that we wrote when we were like kids. Like looking at it as an adult, you end up cutting back a lot of that nonsense that you write when you're like a teen. You're like, oh, I want to have all this edgy teen friggin' mask wearing vigilantes.
Yeah.
And you cut back on that.
Yeah. Okay.
Now it's about like democracy and the corruptness and
that's cool.
the people that would be doing the things for governments that are a little bit on the sly, which is everyday government almost. So it's just working and chipping away at it slowly. Yeah, it's not something that's been worked on constantly throughout those years, but whenever I have to go back with a fresh pair of eyes, I go, getting rid of that. That was a dumb idea.
Okay.
Like, for instance, I wrote like some cowboy thing, the Western, and it was based around 7 deadly sins.
Yeah.
And it's this bounty hunter hunting down 7 members of a group, and they all follow the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah, nice.
And they've all retired, they're doing their own thing. And I wrote them off characters like Ryan was
Let me guess.
Greed.
Yeah, I was about to say Greed. Greed.
He was the baller cowboy.
Yeah.
And then I wrote them all in different
I was going to say
characters.
Ryan would have been lost because I always call Ryan just the fucking, what do I call him? I call him like a fucking, like just a horny animal, bro. That
Well,
guy.
I was stuck between Ryan as lust or greed, and then Bailey as lust and another one. I was like, oh, Bailey, you know what? He's like, he doesn't mean to be a sexy man, but he's a sexy man.
He is
You know,
a star. He's a star, yeah.
He's just
yeah. He is. Now that you say that, he is.
yeah. And I just wrote him as like this lustful character. Doesn't mean to be, but he is. But yeah, then got like wrath and all that, and went through all those, and I wrote it all, how they die and where they, like, how the story goes, and it's only meant to be like a 20-minute video, and I keep going back and I go, nah, get rid of that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Nah, that character doesn't work, it's pointless, just do that. Simple.
Yeah.
I think the video now that I've wanted to do is like 10-minute long video, and now I'm like, shit, and I gotta fix that all up again. So
well, I'm excited, bro. I want to see these videos and films, and
I wish I could.
There's no need to rush, though.
No, yeah. Well, Matt helped me write most of those stories, so and then he wrote the horror story, which that's the one I really want to do. I love like deadpan horror or like slap horror.
Yeah.
Where it's still got some violent tendencies, but
I can't do
watch.
horror. I can't watch it. I can't. It scares me too much. I'm so bitch when it comes to anything.
Is it like creatures or like
creatures? In a way, I'm not too bad with, because it's like I feel like, because whenever I'm invested in anything to watch or listen to, I'm that character. I imagine myself in that scenario, right? So when there's a fucking werewolf, to be honest, I feel pretty confident against a werewolf. Like, it most likely will kill me, but I feel confident enough to be myself. But then when it's like demonic, or like when people are seeing things that no one else can see, or just a situation like so ghostly or spiritual, it's like, fuck that. I do not want my mind consumed with that, bro. It's too scary for me.
No, that's fair. There are some like horror movies in that sense. Well, I have this like divide in horror theme. Horror to me is like Freddy and Friday the 13th or Michael Myers. That horror.
You see,
Scream.
that's also too scary for me too. Like, how can you get out of Freddie Mercury? How can you get out of that situation? You can't. I don't want to be part of it.
But
And then what's the other? Sorry, I cut you off. What's the second?
No, sorry. You took me back. you said Freddie Mercury, and I was like, who's that? And I was like, oh, that's Queen. That's freaking Queen.
Not Freddie Mercury.
What's his name now? Freddie Krueger. Yeah, that's it.
There's no way I said that.
I just took me back because you said a name, and I was like, what's that? I was like, oh,
Freddie
that's what it is.
I'm glad you picked up on that.
No, I barely even noticed. It just clicked in my head. I was like,
yeah,
what is that?
Yeah,
Hear that.
Alright, I'm glad you picked up.
But yeah, no, that it's horror and then thriller, which thriller are the real scary things. Which that's like
too much. Conjuring,
like Insidious and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like those are so good at scaring you.
Yeah.
That they're thrillers.
Yeah.
They're not horror.
Yeah.
But there's some really good horror movies that they're just so dumb. And I love them.
Yeah.
Like Friday the 13th is one of my favorite things because like he slices Jason Voorhees puts a machete through an easy 2-meter circumference tree and it goes, it's like a machete that big, and he puts it through a tree and ends up going all the way through and gets a girl on the other side. You're like, that is so dumb, but
you like it.
Yeah.
Because
like,
that's the scary part of it. Like, it's how is that possible? That's what makes something scary. You know?
And that's something I've always wanted to do. I want to do like a horror, not a movie, but like a horror series, or just not necessarily scary stuff. Just
it's like the same thing as like you see a fucking villain in front of you, so you run out, you shut the door, you go into another room, you turn around and he's there. Yeah, it's the same kind of thing. It's like, how is that possible? That's what makes it so scary.
Yeah, well, because I think he wrote it. It's a zombie thing, and it's like that classic zombies, like green mist with like kids in varsity jackets.
Yeah.
And every time I go back to go cut something, I'm like, no, it's so bad, it's good.
Yeah,
I gotta keep that in there.
Yeah.
Hopefully that one's probably closer to being done because Matt's written the script. I've written like the storyboard. I know what shots we want. We're pretty much like, we could just try and hire some people and get that done, but that's something that
Yeah.
probably need some money for. Because I got to find a graveyard that's going to be willing to do that, or I got to build a graveyard.
Oh yeah, true.
And either one of those.
Well, what
options.
about Parramatta as a grave cemetery you can walk through even at night time? Parramatta.
Well, we got in contact with is it Richmond North or Richmond?
Richmond has a cemetery. There's one just here in Windsor. It might be technically that one.
They had one out the back roads where the softball fields are.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking
They
about.
had one there that the church was like semi-abandoned. And we got in contact with them. We're like, can we do this here? And they're like, yeah, you can.
Nice.
And then they got new owners. And then we're like, oh, can we still do that? And they're like, why? Why would you want to do that? I was like, oh, like everyone that's buried here, they might have a descendant, but it's not like we're gonna show any of the graves. Like we're not gonna
to make it more personal.
fun. Yeah, we just want that scene kind of thing. And as soon as we go indoors with any of the scenes, we won't use your location. We use another place. And yeah, it was a little bit.
They weren't really okay with that.
Yeah, we actually, I don't know if we heard back from them from last time, but yeah. Matt got in contact with them and we're going to try and do that.
Yeah.
But even just those
There's a
little
lot of
process
things,
of trying to find a location, it's pretty fun because you're like, oh, are they going to say yes or no?
Yeah.
If they say yes, exciting. If they say no, we got to find another place.
Yeah. That is cool. There's so many little things you have to think about, when it comes to just creating
But it's so fun.
creating
I love
anything.
it. You gotta problem solve. You gotta try and solve something, even if it's in the most botched way. You gotta create. You gotta bricklay. You gotta learn how to be a brickie for the day, just to create a tombstone.
I love it. I love it. Very cool. You mentioned before, and I like the way you used the word fiance, and I believe that is in the last 12 months, isn't it? That you became engaged?
That was November 28th.
Oh, so in the last fucking 4 months.
No, 2021.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah.
I thought it was a bit more before that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
So you've been over a year engaged now.
Yeah.
How long have you been together for altogether?
Well, when we together at the moment, it's about to be 8 years.
Oh,
It'll be
that's
8
crazy.
years.
You win. No one's ever said that on the podcast before. 8 years. The longest I've had is 5. Longest person is 5.
It's about to be 8. It's where our anniversary of like being together is May. So as soon as it hits May, that's 8 years. But
wow.
Yeah. And I'm not the one.
How old
to
were you
usually...
8 years ago?
I was in year 10 when I first met her, so I was about 15.
Wow. Good work.
15,
That's impressive.
15, 16.
Wow.
Our anniversary is the day before my birthday because I asked her out on the 28th of May, which is day before my birthday. So I was like, why not?
Yeah.
And then my sister invited her to my birthday party without me knowing. And I was like, this is weird.
Yeah.
It's first proper like date. Because
And then she meets the family and everything straight away, eh?
Yeah, that would have been pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor girl.
Nice. Very cool. And now you also mentioned, let me say congratulations. I mean, when do you plan on getting married? That's a big
for
day.
A while, just because like, I mean, I'm not poking fun at anyone that gets engaged, married, or have kids when they're young, but I just don't really see myself doing that.
Yeah.
I just thought I owed it to her and myself.
Yeah. Nice.
That it's the next part in our story together. So like, why not get engaged? And a lot of the time we would always just talk about, we'll just one day go out and buy rings and just tell everyone that we're engaged or married. And I just thought one day, like, no, fuck this. Like, I'm going to surprise her.
Yeah,
I'm going to propose rather than, like, yes.
That's what she really wanted, bro. Deep down.
To be honest,
you did the right thing.
She was a bit...
You would have fallen victim to the trap if you hadn't listened.
I mean, she was very adamant. Like, that's the only reason that I knew what ring she wanted.
Yeah,
what cut. Cool. Like, I knew her size and everything for, like, years. Not even, like, I planned earlier. It's just because we've always just talked about... Like, we'd just bring it up. We're like, oh, we so want that at our wedding. And it was never just mentioned, like, oh, we should get married. We just kind of just knew.
Yeah, that is what typically happens over enough period of time. It's like, you just start assuming he's going to be together forever.
Oh, yeah, and that's pretty much how it happened. But then the ring didn't come on the date that the ring was meant to come. So I had to propose with a ring pop. So I had to have a ring pop.
Oh, yeah, nice.
But yeah, that was good. did it like at my old work where we had glow in the dark paint, so you couldn't actually see the text until I flicked the switch.
Oh, good.
UV lights came on.
It's creative coming out of you. I love it.
It was pretty creative up until the point and didn't have a ring, but she was still like, she still got the ring. The ring pop.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
But the ring was really nice too. It's not like a diamond ring. It's moissanite, which is like, it's the closest thing to a diamond. It's a lab-grown diamond, but it's not a certified lab-grown diamond. And I wanted to make sure it wasn't like that, because it's cooler, because I want an asteroid ring like, or made out of like the carbon metals that made in it, so it like has that scratchy look.
Yeah, I think it's technically a form of diamond. I think, isn't it? Asteroid metal. Like, I think it almost diamondizes as it comes into the surface of the Earth.
That's what moissanite was. Moissanite was first discovered and created in like the desert. Meteorite hit the Earth so hard that the carbon just heat up so bad, so much that it created a diamond, an artificial diamond, that we now know as moissanite. And she's always loved that one, and I was like, it wasn't really sentimental until I realized that, damn, like, I love space and I love asteroids, and I was like, because I almost bought a chunk of asteroid metal in America. I was like, fuck, like, if I could definitely get this sent home and be safe about it, I'd buy it here.
Yeah.
It was going to cost me like a couple grand.
Oh, yeah.
But it was a solid chunk. It was like, it was like that big.
Yeah, well.
Like thousands of dollars.
That would have been cool.
But.
One day.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, my question was, you mentioned that the best place for you to meet was when you met in Bali, because she was in Indonesia.
Yeah.
Why was she... You said she did humanity? Is that what you said?
So she studies... Well, she's graduated now. She's just got to wait to get a certificate. She studied humanitarian and third world development studies.
Okay. And what is that?
So that's kind of like world aid and like aid in overseas countries or underdeveloped countries, helping with not necessarily just like refugee help or anything, but like she went over to Indonesia and worked in like transgender help.
Okay.
Or it was like a transgender awareness company, because in like Indonesia it's like illegal. It's a primarily Muslim country, like that sort of thing is very frowned upon and is very scary. Like Zoe wasn't really allowed to talk about what she did while she was over there because of that fact. And it's just sort of helping underdeveloped countries.
I'm guessing that's part of like almost like the curriculum of university to actually do the transgender thing. Is that part of it or
no? Actually, so like she was just more focused on like logistics. So what she is trying to get a job in, or what that degree targeted the most, was like disaster relief or development of underdeveloped countries. So for instance, like a job that she could get is working at an airport for like disaster prep and logistics. So floods, terrorism attacks, wildfires, any sort of disaster, natural or man-made, just being prepared and organizing whether there's buses to get people off the planes or some sort of backup for getting your like food and supplies to the airport if you were stranded there. Just working and stuff like that.
Oh, because they do use airports as like a shelter, don't they?
Yeah. So sometimes, and then obviously she would have to work out logistics of shipping in like food and stuff like that, or supplies. So yeah, it does sound quite intense, and she had to do like psychology units and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool course.
They had to go into like
that's a very sorry to cut you off, but it's a very selfless career path.
Yes, makes me feel like shit working in retail. I'll tell you that. Being like, gosh, she just got this amazing degree, and now I work in retail selling, being most capitalistic.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's very her course too. Like she's jumped a few different courses, speech pathology, and she did like a nursing cert 3. But yeah,
so she's very selfless. Actually, I don't think I've ever had a conversation with her. I don't think so.
No. And she's quite she's funny though, because I always pick on her because she's the most selfless person I know, but she has the worst. I'm gonna get in trouble for this. Worst resting bitch face.
Okay.
Like,
okay.
She.
That's cool.
I always like when I first met her in like high school. I was like, oh, she's a bit intimidating because she's a smart girl. So I knew she was gonna be larger than life person than I was.
Yeah.
She had her head screwed on. That's very intimidating for
for sure.
For any partners, male or female. Like you meet someone that's intelligent and got their life together. You
start having doubts. You're like,
scary.
fuck, I'm not worthy. Yeah.
But and then I remember being intimidated by her, and then she should have. She first messaged and talked to me after house got shot at. So
yeah.
So
Nice.
I was like,
sweet.
This crazy bitch. I know.
yeah.
But yeah, no. So she's so selfless. It does hurt.
Now that I think about it, Fossey actually does mention that a lot too. He actually does say that a lot. He actually says how does she just kind of like the most caring person, but he says it in a better way than I can remember.
Yeah, he they all call her like the mum of the group.
That's right. Yeah.
Because we know Fossey.
Yeah.
Fossey makes real dumb decisions.
Yeah, fuck, that's why I love him, bro.
Oh yeah, he's the best.
I fucking love Fossey. He's one of the best humans I've ever met in my life.
Yeah. Best. He's a fine specimen.
Yeah.
He's
so funny, bro. I love him.
Oh,
Shout out to Fossey. I know you're listening.
Sorry, Fossey. But Zoe definitely takes care of a lot of people in our group. I would say that because Nick will make some mistakes and Zoe's got some good advice, and then Ryan will make some mistakes, make some good advice.
Nice.
But yeah.
Nice.
But it's not like it's... I don't know if anyone really gets threatened by Zoe, like any of the other partners. I think everyone just loves her.
Yeah, cool.
But
yeah.
So it also holds me to a certain point. Like if I've got Zoe as my partner, I'm gonna have a certain standard too.
Yeah.
If she's freaking amazing, I'm gonna be amazing.
Yeah, that's cool. That reminds me of this funny story that happened recently. There was this chick that had a big resting bitch face, and I don't want to give too much information as to where this happened, right? But I was trying to talk to her, and it was like just not really working out in my favor. And even though she was kind of like going along with the conversation, the resting bitch face was just so intimidating for me. It was like she'd say good morning, blah blah blah, and I'm just the whole time I'm taken back, like Jesus Christ, like you do not want to be talking to me. Anyway, someone else was asking me about it, and I go, yeah, bro, you know that fucking bitch? I don't know, one that doesn't smile. Like, she just got the resting bitch face. Like, what the fuck's that bitch's problem? And then this guy goes, that's my girlfriend. I was like, fuck, dude. It was so awkward. It was so fucking
it's like
awkward.
That, but in the same sense, like, some of the most standoffish people are some of the nicest people you ever meet.
Yeah.
It's like that, that sense of, like, always be afraid of the quiet kid.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, sometimes that quiet kid will be the most generous and loyal person you'll ever meet. And I've always seen that throughout. Like a few people in our group are quite quiet. I mean, every time you're around, we're all freaking rowdy and drunk. And
I haven't noticed anything about quiet
so
around you boys. Yeah.
The only one that's the most quiet is Bailey. And even if you've been best friends with him for years, he's still going to be the same sort of quiet. He just doesn't change.
It's funny how I met Bailey. I met Bailey because, and Bailey's probably listening, so shout out to Bailey. I met Bailey because I'm pretty sure he was neighbour to a kid that I was best friends with when I was in kindergarten or year 1 or something. So Fossey would go over Bailey's house and I would go over my mate's house. And then when Fossey wasn't there, it'd be me, Bailey, and this other kid playing. And then because of me and Fossey both pretty much being the neighbours of our best friends, we became fucking best friends. Like in a way, we were destined to become best friends. But yeah, I met Bailey when I was probably 6, I think, 5, 7 or something. Yeah.
Good old Bays.
Yeah.
You know that. I remember the first time me, Bailey, and Ryan hung out, because it was kind of like a clash of Bailey and Ryan were they grew up with each other like yous all did, and then me and Matt grew up together we were in primary school and we were friends for a little bit before that, and then we were in the same class, all 4 of us.
Yeah.
And that was a clash of the worlds, and then
yeah.
we went to my house for a weekend, the first time we ever like properly hung out, because I was with like football kids and I don't play football anymore, so that tells you how much I like football.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the first thing we did was we just got into trouble, and not in like super dumb ways, but just
Exploring being youthful and adolescent, is that what you mean?
we'd climb a crane, or we'd
Yeah.
do something dumb like that.
Yeah.
Jump off a really tall rock.
That's how you become friends. That's how you become friends with people. Yeah.
We'd freaking no drugs or nothing, and then we just go do something. Well, actually, no. The first time we hung out, we got high off spray paint because we sprayed the inside of a bunch of masks and the outside, designed them and all stuff.
Yeah.
And we just thought we were cool with creating masks like our comic books, and we wore them all night, and we were giggling until
crazy.
about 4 a.m.
That's a crazy high.
Yeah, we did like just didn't realize. It's like sniffing a mask.
Yeah. That's like, what do they call it? Chroming.
Yeah.
They get a fucking can deodorant and they fucking go.
Yeah, at like maybe 13, 14.
Yeah.
Actually, it was year 8 or end of year 7, so like 12, 13, and we got accidental high. I've got accidental high with Ryan a lot.
Yeah.
We use this industrial glue for his year 12 major work.
Oh, he told me about this once. Yeah.
And it was like use in well ventilated or outdoor areas.
Yeah.
And we were in a room about half the size of this, gluing together this clear freaking plastic dome.
That was his project, wasn't it? Yeah.
And that was like the weirdest high, because like I
Yeah.
like turned around and I was like, my fingertips are going numb.
Yeah.
He's like, my head's numb. Like, shit, this is it. How are we gonna tell our parents? I can't drive you home now, right?
Yeah.
What did you do? Oh, I got high with industrial glue.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh, I want to circle back to journaling, actually. I was curious as to... So you're saying when you do it, you prioritize things. So do you also have like a list of things that you put towards the front, as opposed to you doing your film and you're journaling that towards the back of your priority list? Or is it just about your film? Like, what is... Is it everything? Is it just for everything?
It started off as just business ideas. And, well, not business ideas, but like profiting. Trying to make something.
Yeah.
With that, the portable gaming table thing, I was trying to work... Well, it's actually pretty much done. I just need to 3D print it. That's one of the biggest things we've been working on. I pretty much just went through and listed like the priority of what we'd need to do to get that done. And then from there, I just I went through to all the boys like Ryan, Bailey, Nick, all that, and just interrogated them, being like, if you wanted to get something out of this business, what would you want to do? Or what role would you see yourself in if you saw yourself in a company or a corporation? And I just went through like their strengths and weaknesses, and I'd quite literally have a page here just for like strengths and weaknesses of where they could be in the company.
Oh, okay.
And that was just like one example of brainstorming over a day, just talking to Ryan a little bit about what he'd want to do. And obviously like Ryan, I knew that he like loves to read self-help books and listen to podcasts and stuff, and I was like, he just needs constant motivation. I can get him to do anything as long as I hype him up. He just requires hype, and I can keep him going. And I knew that about him straight away, so I just kept hyping him up, pushing him towards, and like that. These were just like quite literally, I profiled my friends and being like, I know I can put him here, and I can get him to do what he wants to do and what I need him to do. And then like just listing off stuff we'd need to get done if we wanted to get that company done. And most of the time I tick most of them off, which was pretty cool about like doing just simple little notes as well throughout the day. Like some days I'd actually write in here like what I'm doing today. Like today I've just got podcast today. Like, and I've already like scratched that bottom off because I was like, I've got nothing else on today. But there's a few ones where I'd even just simply write down, clean my room, just because just simple little steps like that. If you can knock them off, they might seem like a little bit like little goal, but once you knock one of those little things off, it does motivate you a little bit more to get the next thing done.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you are feeling like a little bit down, just jotting down dot points of what you need to do throughout the day. I found helpful. I did it a lot towards the end of last year, being the new year, it's been a bit like
Yeah.
I've been working a lot more, so it's been a bit harder to get on top of that. But even just wrote down some like just notes being in Bali. I actually stole a map from I think
Oh, that's sick. I see.
from Bali. It's the map of Bali.
Oh, that's
I got
cool.
like all my notes on where we went there, and then
Nice.
just all little things, and then just like quotes and stuff that I like.
I love quotes too.
The jack of all trades is master of none,
Yeah.
but far greater than master of one.
Yeah. I like that. I love the second half of that. No one knows that.
Everyone just says a jack of all trades is master of none.
Yeah.
But that's like that second part of that quote is so powerful.
It's like, have you heard the second half to the quote, curiosity killed the cat?
No, actually.
The second half of it is, curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction bring it back to life.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right.
Satisfaction might not be the word, but it's like the word for like finding the answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, I love it how most quotes have a second half. But I've gotten into journaling a lot lately too. I take a path of where I had one that I started with like a calendar type thing where this is what I want to do today. And that I need that. If I don't have that in my life, I'm fucking lost.
Yeah.
And then mine might just be call this person, text this person. And then today, what exercises I want to do, I'll do little things like shave Thursday, clean my room fucking Sunday, things like this. And that helps me a lot. A second journal entry I have is for how I felt about the day. I've started to do that. Yeah. So work was good. I could have slept more last night. You know, I'm glad I didn't eat shit before I went to work. And then I was proud of the exercise I did push myself. How I felt through the day.
Yeah.
Another one I have is for work. And there might just be, because I've been in my trade for pretty much, I think 8 years, 7 to 8. It's hard for me to work it out. And I now write down things like, this is the pipe size that came out of this. It's good to remember to take this with you when you do this. An easier way to do this is this. And I think futuristically, because I've written it down, the next time I go to do this one task, it might be 3 years from now, I've already done it. You know what I mean? And I've written it down and I've read it.
Yeah.
So I'll know to take 30mm socket, fucking, you know what I mean? Like I know what I'm... And then I've got two more actually. One for exercise. I'm trying to keep track of that. And then the last one is my creative outlooks on things. So I might just have an idea of God, for example, as I'm researching religion, and I'll just brainstorm what I think the word could mean, what I think the people are trying to explain when they use the word, or one thing I might journal will be what the word creativity means, you know? And I fucking love journaling. So anyone else who starts to write things down, I respect.
Yeah, I pretty much put all those journals into one. Just because I used to, with my old job, I had a diary and like a journal just for like jotting down. So if I'd sit at a meeting, everyone would have their laptops and I'd have my notebook.
Yeah.
And they'd always be so intrigued. They'd be like, you're pretty much our tech guy. You edit videos, take photos, but yet you sit down at a meeting and you write in a book. Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, because I'm going to get a little bit more memory out of that. Yeah. Like physically writing that out and drawing a dumb little picture next to it. Yeah. And I will if I type it out onto a laptop. Yeah. And that's all that's there.
I feel like it's also like typing in a laptop does work, you're right. But it's also you are able to actually work out what you're thinking when you're getting it out. You know what I mean? Like you might be thinking it, but until you get it out, then you realize, oh, that's what I was thinking. You know?
I struggle a little bit with typing sometimes, so I just writing it down, and I'll like draw a little picture next to something just so if I kind of just visually go, that note, that's where I drew that shot of the shot that I had in mind, or because I worked for that art company, I draw a little picture of what I had in mind for it. Mm-hmm. And some days I would have a brief or a concept done before we finish our meeting, because I'm just like, they would tell me right at the start, all right, this is our brief, or this is the target, what we're going for, what artwork, what colors. Mm-hmm. And then I'd just go, well, who's next? And then once they keep going, I would obviously put my input, because like, being such a creative industry, my last one, like everyone had a pretty big say in what went on there, so it was pretty good. So I'd have to keep an ear out to be like, oh yeah, right, yeah, I'll do that, or we should do this. But most of the time I'd be sitting there like doing the design, I would feel pretty bad because they'd get back to me and be like, oh yeah, we need this. Like we'd have a meeting in the morning. They're like, oh yeah, this design. By the time we end, I'd show them the design, and then we'd stick around in the meeting, even though we all got to do shit. I'm like, all right, what's the thought process in this color palette?
Yeah.
And if I can get it done in that meeting quickly, then it's a lot easier for me to keep going. Because then if I get it done by myself, I've then got to go to everyone individually and be like, what's this like? What else do we need to add here? What company are we working with? Do I need to put a logo there? But if they're all sitting down at the table and they tell me first what the design is, I'll sit down, draw it, get it going, and then go, okay, quick, before everyone goes back to work.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this?
Did you find that when you were working in this job, it took away some of the fun behind being creative?
Yes and no. Yes, with painting, it did. Only because when it got to that, though, I did find that they ended up dedicating the painting role to someone else. So I'd do the design, get that done, set up, I'd send it to an artist, and they would actually paint it and get that all done up. So it was kind of like as soon as I got to a point like that, I'd just mention it, and they'd go, okay, don't paint anymore.
Okay.
Send it to someone else, and then we'll either get you to paint something specialty, or if you want to paint something later, you can do that. So they're pretty good with accommodating to that.
Nice.
So even with, I got a lot of creative freedom with my last role, but yeah, like pretty much it was me and one other person on the creative team, and then the marketing team, we ended up being one.
Okay.
But none of us had someone to report to for a while, so it was pretty like independent. So if I needed to, I'm a night, and I work at night more. Like I would submit a project at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Because I just, some days throughout the day I didn't feel motivated, or I didn't get a project done to my satisfaction, and I'd go home and I'd go, oh shit, I know what I'm missing. I know what I need.
Yeah.
I'd sit there and do the design, send it through, and I'd get a text in the morning like, why are you up this late?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, they'd be like, oh, but that's great. That's what we needed.
Yeah.
So it just allowed me to be a bit more flexible with myself.
Yeah.
That made me crave wanting to work for myself a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then
That would.
hopefully I can sustain that. Either that or just get a really, really good gig.
Yeah.
But if I could get a good gig and settle with that.
I like it.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with like getting a full-time role in that industry and or working for yourself. But either one for me is fine right now. As long as I can still focus on all my personal goals as well.
Yeah.
I'll take any job.
Yeah. Good to know. All right. I'll tell you what I do want to do with you. I do this segment called Deep Questions. All right. Usually I go into it a lot earlier than we got into this, but I like the fact that we've talked freely for so long, so I'm not complaining about it. So I won't do as many deep questions as I usually do, but I do want to hear how you think about certain things. So these are completely random. If I might have had a couple of them before, so I'll just skip through if I've had some before. First one, what do you think of? Do you think children should be allowed to have cell phones? And let's say we'll put an age limit. Let's say under the age of 10.
No.
No, okay.
No.
I'm the
Like,
same.
They already have so much access through tablets and laptops and those sort of avenues. Having a phone isn't necessary. There is the argument that what happens if they need to call someone or get emergency services.
Yeah, but how often is a 10-year-old? You know, you're not going to be around an adult anyway.
No, like most of the time when that's the case, there's already someone else there, or we've got solutions like those smartwatches. Like at JB Hi-Fi, they sell like these Mucci or Space Talks.
Oh yeah,
And they quite literally just have emergency contacts. Mum, dad, police.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it.
That's cool.
So if
That's
like
for
you're
kids.
a young kid and
Yeah.
you need help, and obviously they would need to be strict,
Yeah.
be taught strictly enough that
Yeah.
that's emergency only.
Yeah.
And yeah, that I think that's all they need. I'm not even a huge I grew up on
tablet?
Xbox.
Yeah, I'm going to say I'm not a
yeah,
big fan of tablets for kids either.
Yeah, Xbox and PlayStation, all that. That was like a privilege. Like
Yeah.
some weekends, like when I got into high school, yeah, I'd stay up late and sneak onto it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then when mum would like come upstairs and in the lounge room, I'd like try and run into my room.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, yeah, but that
Yeah.
I think that's acceptable, as in, like, if they're going to sneak around and try and, like, play the Xbox or use the tablet, sure, but not constant access
Yeah,
to
kids
it.
have it from the age of 2.
They're going to be kids, man.
2, yeah.
Like-
And I was talking about this with my grandfather, actually, on the last podcast that just came out, and that I think that kids aren't going to be as interested in exploring the world because they have the access to anything that can interest them at their fingertips.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
like the world's already just there, yeah. They don't feel the necessity or need to want to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
But, I definitely don't agree on
Well,
too early access with technology or phones or anything.
I'm definitely with you on that one. All right, is there anything that you have desired to be but were too afraid at the risk of failing?
Definitely just a professional painter or artist.
Okay.
Like, yeah, it'd be great, but it's just, I don't know.
Is it a hard
Might do
industry to
some
get into?
Yeah, there's so many artists,
Okay.
and that's like a niche thing. Like, if you can have a style or you can develop a style, yeah, that's perfect. But I think I've just got too broad of a style, and I like to adapt my style to other people's needs, or I get inspiration from other artists, and I just, not copy, but I'll use like some sort of line work from their style and then interpret it into mine or blend it in. But yeah, just being like a professional painter or an artist would be, that was definitely a big dream.
Well, I think that you're still on that path. You know, you might just not be diving into it as deep as some people might be.
Yeah.
I don't think you're giving up on that.
No, it's, well, I can't really think of something like I've actually...
Well, that is the question. That was a good answer for it. But I'm saying, like, you're risk it. You're afraid to dive into it entirely.
Yeah.
But it's good to know you're still tiptoeing on the edge of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
A lot of people give up on their dreams entirely.
I've never actually thought about it that way, but yeah, every sort of like dream I've had, I've kind of kept it still there in a way, not
good.
ever just gotten rid of it. Like, if I wanted to be a comic book writer, yeah, that's always been there a little bit. Like, technically, I've already got a comic book, I can just do it. So it's not like I've given up on that. I think from a young age, I've kind of had a very realistic expectation of my life. So I never wanted to go too crazy, even though I'm a creative person. I just didn't want to get too crazy with my thoughts.
Oh, well, I like the answer. I forgot to mention I'll go as well, just so you don't feel entirely left alone in the boat. Recently, I've realised that I kind of wanted to be acting a bit more, especially as a kid. I actually was curious as to be in the theatre plays and all the things that they perform in front of the school. I did have that part of me that was embarrassed. I kind of saw it as like just not my aura, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't see it as me. But now that I get older and some of my friends are acting, it's like, man, that would have been amazing to get into. I don't think it was necessarily a dream though. If I ever want to, I feel like I can go do it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I was definitely afraid of fucking being vulnerable in front of people. Yeah. So
Who knows? Maybe I might need some actors done. So
oh yeah, I've got some
And-
actors I could put you on if you need actors.
no, I'll just
Shout out
cast
to
you
Seth.
instead.
No, not me. Shout out to Seth. I know you're listening, Seth. I'm talking about you. What's a principle you try and live your life by?
Yeah, principle I live my life by. Oh, I learnt this in like my first job. It's called PIF. Pay it forward.
Okay.
And as like just a coworker, that's what you're trained to do. And then I heard it again while working there as just a general human thing to do. Pay it forward. Everything you do or want to do should have some sort of positive impact on something around you.
Oh, pay it forward. That's the. I know what you mean. You mean like the term of where it's like when you're in drive-through and you like pay it forward is that term where you pay for the person's food behind them and then they'll come and pay for their food. I think that's what it.
Just like simple little things, just like that. Yeah, pay it forward. So everything you want to do, or if you can either be successful, I just want to pay some of what I could do forward to someone else. Like, if I was to ever be a director, I'd probably be a very poor director, even from spending too much, or being too generous because I'd hate to have too much money. Like
Yeah.
I already, like, I get nervous thinking about if I remember always thinking like, oh, I mean, if I won the lottery, it'd be great. But then I go, shit. Like, yeah, everyone would be like, yeah, I've won the lottery, but I can already just go on.
It's so much
That's like terrifying to me. Like, that much money is power, and I don't want power. I just want to be a storyteller. I just want to tell a story. So, yeah, pay it forward. Paying everything, everything I do, I can hopefully is in the image or paying it forward to someone that I can think of, or not just being generous, but pay it forward as a general. Yeah. So
it's almost like the religious concept of, 10% of your salary should go towards charity. It's the same kind of thing of sharing, Yeah. That's cool. Mine's very similar, actually, in a way. I think the one I'm thinking of is, I think there's two most important fundamental factors to being alive. One is learning, and one is teaching.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. You have to share your experience that you've gathered along the way. I say learning is earning, because the more you learn, the more you earn.
Yeah.
And then that's only half of it. The other half is teaching, because teaching is reaching. And because when you are teaching someone else, you actually are continuing to learn further than the point you thought you had learned to, because now you're reaching for more information to pass it on to someone else.
Yeah.
So that's the one that I'll go with. But they're very similar in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The fundamentals are the same. It's about sharing, I guess.
Yeah. But it's a good question. Very good question. I think of, pay it forward's definitely something I do live by. But it's a very broad spectrum of what I live, like, the pay it forward. Like, it's as...
Oh, well, you'd be filled with
Yeah.
hundreds of concepts.
Yeah, it could be as niche, as tiny as me just putting the toilet seat down as a pay it forward.
Yeah, that's
compared to quite literally serving someone and then them going, sorry, I'm like $5 short. I'm like,
yeah.
That's my card.
Yeah.
$5 difference.
Beautiful.
Like,
well, that's
you're in
a great
here,
example.
you're getting it. Why would I? Like, you need it. If you don't need it, then I could definitely suggest that you can come back and get it later.
Yeah.
But if it's something like a school laptop for a kid, like that,
yeah,
kid doesn't get a laptop for $5 or something like that, that's shit.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a great example.
Yeah.
It is as small as a toilet seat, and it can be as big as literally giving away your own money to someone else who needs it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I like that. That was a great answer. All right. We'll do two more of these random questions.
Yeah, of course.
Do you think the phrase "can just be yourself" ever be considered poor advice?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Yes, too. Why do you think so?
Because for me, if I was to be myself in some scenarios, it just wouldn't work.
Okay.
What's Bear Grylls' most adapt, survive, overcome, or whatever it is?
Yeah, improvise, adapt, overcome.
That's it. Yeah, that's how I've done all my jobs. If I didn't know that job, it's technically faking it till you make it, but I'll adapt. I'll learn about that job. I'll learn about that skill, and I'll do it. If I was to just be myself,
you're kind of closing your opportunity to learn, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just be like water.
Yeah.
Be the bottle. Be the river. Whatever you need to be to do it. Obviously, there's a different standard in, like, going too far with not being yourself. Yes, but you should be adaptive. You should be able to just change. So many people are afraid to change. Yeah. I've lived in 23 houses.
Really?
And I'm 23 years old.
Wow, you beat me. But I think I've been 13.
I was 23 houses at... Well, I was 22 houses at 19 years of age. So the last house I've been in for like 4 years now. Yeah. So that's
home now.
It's good. But at the same time, I just got so used to moving and change and having to have my room set up differently. Yeah. Got to a point which was kind of fun. It was like, new room, new setup, I could change everything. Everything was always on the go. And I don't mind that. I don't mind change. Okay. It's scary. But like, after having so many different jobs and none of them relate.
Yeah.
Different skills. I just got to this point in which I'm not afraid to apply for a job. Like, you get nervous, you're like, oh, am I going to hear back? But even if it's like technically not within my full skill set,
Yeah.
if I get the job, I'm going to learn that skill and I'm going to master that skill.
Yeah, cool.
Like, it's just as simple as working in retail compared to a trade.
Yeah.
They're so different, but yet guarantee you'd be like, some tradies afraid of working in retail, and then some retail people are afraid to work in a trade. Like,
You got to put yourself out of your comfort zone.
it's once you learn it, it's just so simple. And like, I think a lot of people just go, I don't have the mental capacity. Definitely know you do. Like,
Yeah.
you could be completely illiterate and not know how to read, write, or anything, but you'll be able to learn that skill.
You'll figure it out, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think so too. I think be yourself can be poor advice, and I think if I was to change it, it would. I think the better saying would be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
Because I think, especially for me, and I can guarantee a lot of people are the same. By being yourself, I feel like everyone's I think the word's intrinsically
Yeah.
is intrinsically lazy.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Everyone just wants to sit on the couch. I do it every day. I want to come home and I want to just
Wanna
put on a
be productive,
podcast, and it's like, I want to do the opposite. I don't want to be productive. I want to, deep down, I want to just enjoy time doing nothing.
I want to be productive, but I'm the
Yeah,
opposite. I end
yeah,
up doing nothing.
yeah.
I'm like, I want to do this,
Okay,
I want to
that's a
do
better way
that,
of
and then I
saying
go, oh, fuck, I'm just going to play video games. I'm going to watch Netflix.
That's a better way of saying it. Maybe I do want to be productive, but I am lazy.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad piece of advice. It's just, it's not good enough advice.
Yeah, that's
There
good
needs
point.
it needs to be more defined, because not being yourself is just like, technically you could say that before you go into a job interview. Just be yourself,
Yeah.
and if you're adaptive, then you can change it.
Yeah, but I
If you
think that
can-
is bad advice. You have to be the best version of yourself.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Everyone's fucking. It's like, do you think you'll have a problem with coming to work all the time? And the answer, honestly, is no. I'm not going to want to come to work on time. But the best version of yourself is, yes, I'm going to come to work every day. So yeah, I like the way you said that. It's not bad advice, but it could be better.
It's not the right advice.
Yeah. All right. Good. Well, we're going to do one more. So I'll find a good one. What do you want more than anything else in life? Hard one, eh? Do you want me to go first, or because you've gone first every time, or do you want to go first?
Yeah, if you go first.
All
I don't
right.
want to
Damn it! I should have thought about it before I asked you that. What do I want more than anything else in life? I want to provide as best of a future for my own children as I possibly can. That's probably my number one thing. I'm not rushing into it, and then I'm not even interested in finding the person that I want to have kids with yet, because there's so much more that I want to achieve in order for me to provide. I'm contradicting myself, because as I say the answer, I know that I don't need anything materialistically to provide to help my kids grow. And for the 20 years before they become proper developed anyway, I'm going to be learning along the way.
Yeah.
But I know that you can't love someone else truly until you truly love yourself. And I've got a long way to go until I'm technically in love with myself. You know what I mean? There's so much more that I know I need to do in order for me to feel completely satisfied. So until I'm close enough there, then I can start to teach that into my own children. That's probably what I care about the most.
Yeah. I mean, love can be blinding, even if it is yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If you fall in love with yourself or someone else, it can blind you from your true flaws or their true flaws. So
True.
that can still happen.
Mm-hmm.
What was the full question again? It was
Full question was, what do you want more than anything else?
in life. This is like definitely what I want most in life. It's not that I can't have it. I've been doing it, and so it sounds stupid, but I want to live. I want to stop surviving,
Okay.
and I want to live.
Yeah.
Like, I've spoilt myself. I've gone overseas. I've done little things, and I want to. Work's gonna be priority, but just live. I think as someone grown up with my background, I've been too busy surviving. Like, I have the mentality, like, when I lost my last job, I wasn't lost, didn't get fired or anything. They just couldn't hire me back, or they couldn't renew my contract. And I wasn't upset. I wasn't annoyed at first. The first thing my brain went to was like, all right, I'm just gonna start looking for jobs. Like I just go into survival mode, and I think I'm too often in survival mode. I need to actually think about like, get busy living.
That makes sense.
Because just I'm in full survival mode too often. Like I remember when I lost my job, like my partner, like Zoe, she was like it's horrible. Like it's your dream job, and it's gone, but I'm not worried for you. Like she's like, I know you. Like you're switched on enough. Like
You're Bear
in
Grylls.
stressful, in stressful scenarios like that, I almost perform slightly better just because it's like, oh well, everyone else around me or the room's on fire, but I can just go. The door's not on fire yet. I'm gonna open that door. I'm gonna leave it.
Yeah.
But like it's.
I like that.
Just gotta start living rather than stressing and thinking about my survival.
I like that. I do think about that a little bit too. I think about how a lot of people, and you said it good, are surviving. I think of it as if like existing. It's almost like the NPC, meme that everyone says. A lot of people are. It's a kind of like the saying. A lot of people are NPCs, and then you gotta fucking experience life and what it has to offer. Interpretate everything for what it is.
It doesn't matter what job you have, because you could have the worst job in the world, but then you could still be living. Because if you've got the worst job in the world but get paid good, you could be going to Bali every year, every 6 months.
Not Bali, because Bali's shit, as we discovered.
Not go to
Thailand with the boys.
Thailand. Anywhere else.
Yeah.
But
I hear that. I feel that when you say that.
Yeah,
it opens my mind a little bit.
It's always been something that scared me too, because like when Ryan got the job at like in air conditioning, I was like, is this what you want? Because I remember when he first started, he was like, oh, I don't want to work there, I just want money.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can see you working there for the rest of your life. And I was like, as long as you can promise me you're gonna like still do something.
Yeah, well, he's lucky he has a good balance between.
He's got a good work and life balance.
He just has to distinguish between video gaming and jiu-jitsu. I think that's his biggest problem.
Oh yeah.
But he has a great balance between work and social.
Oh yeah.
He understands that. A lot of people in our industry do not have that. I'm lucky. I feel like I have that entirely. I have projects that I need to have going. Podcasting keeps me occupied for at least call it 8 hours a week minimum, 10 hours a week, and then I've got fitness that I'm trying to work on. I've got my ideas that I'm trying to articulate.
Yeah.
If I didn't have them, I can see myself being like some of these other fridgies and aircon mechanics who are
NPCs.
NPCs, bro. Work.
When you get too far into one or the other, you're an NPC.
Yeah.
If you're too social, you're
right.
that drunk guy at a pub that's the NPC.
Yeah.
If you're too much for work, and then you're just quite literally a background character on a set in an office.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what I think about. I always think about
That's
stuff
true.
in like a movie sense or a TV
Background-
sense. They're quite
background
literally pretending to talk to their co-worker around the cubicle or whatever, the freaking water fountain, and then they go back, sit down, do nothing.
That's so true.
Like, you could have the most plain job in the world, but yet, as long as you got a decent
you
balance,
have the best life. Yeah.
I know so many people like that.
We had this apprentice tell me a story last week. He's an electrician working on my site. He had one tradie. They went and did living away work. And living away, it's very hard on the soul. It's great for the pocket. Like, fuck, you earn unlimited money. You could not spend it all unless you were gambling. It's the only way you could spend that much money.
Yeah.
Because your life is to be at work when you're living away.
The furthest I've lived, done working away was Newcastle, and that was a killer.
Yeah, well, it's no different. It's no different when you're Newcastle or you're in the middle of Northern Territory, because you're separated from your friends and family.
Yeah.
And he was telling me that he would finish work and come back home, and then the tradie would follow him 5 minutes later, but he'd already be gone. So he'd come back 2 hours later, and the tradie would say, "Where have you been?" Like, "Oh, I found a gym. It's only about 20 minutes away, so I just went there, make sure I get my workout in." And he's a big kid, bro. He's 21. He's got deep voice, big buff kid. And his tradesman lost his shit at him, was yelling at him, "What the fuck is wrong with you? If you have time to go to the gym after work, you didn't work hard enough that day. You know, you should be focusing on work. And I've had tradesmen in the past that you say what you're doing on the weekend. It's like, you shouldn't be fucking playing video games. You should be studying your job. And it's like, you can't, are so boring, you know? You have no life. How is that living? If you're only living to go to work, then you're not living. You're existing.
Like, yeah, it's a different story when, like, if you, like, work for yourself, like, you are quite literally living to work. It's like every waking second would be like, oh, I gotta do this. But then in that sense, you're still like, you'd probably only work 4 hours a day for yourself.
Yeah.
The rest you do whatever the fuck you want.
But it's also not the money that's driving you in that situation. It's the lifestyle of being independent. But when you have a job, you're driven by the money.
Oh yeah.
And most of the time, no matter how much you work, it's never going to be enough anyway. No. You could earn $100 an hour every hour, 50 hours a week. If you don't have the right lifestyle outside of work, you could have the same lifestyle as if you're earning $10 an hour.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think people that devote too much to their work, it gets them. My dad freaking has like, I forget the number, but my dad mentioned how many sick leave and like sick hours he had. Like my jaw dropped. It was in the hundreds, and I was like, how do they even let you do that?
I know of a guy who maxed it out. I know of a guy who maxed it out at 999. He couldn't possibly earn any more than that.
Bro, you could retire with that.
That's crazy.
No, bro.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, my dad could probably retire in 4 years and then just get all of his sick leave paid out, and he'd be set.
Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, and
some jobs just reset that every year. But
yeah,
his for some reason they just kept going. And I was like, that's surely not legal because
yeah. I think that sick leave doesn't legally have to accumulate, but it is a company's option. What a good thing that some companies do, you get paid out for half the sick leave you didn't take through the year, which is a good incentive. But I'll tell you what, we have been yarning for a long time, and I would love to do this for a lot longer, but there is stuff that I want to talk to you about in regards to the last job you were at, and I want to go in more depth of that. I want to go into when you were... that's not the same job as when you were teaching people how to paint who were like on the wines and those...
Same company.
Same company?
Yep, same company.
Okay, so there's a big range of things that I want to get into with that. But we're going to have to save it all for episode 2, all right, in the future. I do like it when this happens, when I haven't run out of things to talk about. But I have got one more question that I need to ask you, and it's the same question that I do ask everyone that comes on the podcast.
Yeah.
Say someone comes to you for some advice because they're feeling depressed, mainly because they're lost and they don't know what to do. What's some advice you would give to that person?
Well, it does depend on the scenario. Definitely talk to them a bit more about what they're depressed about. And usually that's where I suggest change. Like, change your habits. Change whatever you're doing right now. If you're smoking, try and quit. Even if that's not the thing that's causing depression, try and quit. If maybe you're feeling like you're a bit closed off or you're not going out as much, maybe you don't have to go out. Don't tackle it always head on. Just change it up. It's as simple as... I'm trying to think of like the most simple way without it sounding like lame. But...
Don't worry about it sounding lame. It's as good as an example is as good as it can be. An example.
I think a lot of depression comes from repetitiveness. Obviously, it's not the primary cause. Like, I definitely understand that. But if you can change something, even if you're not changing the direct cause of that mental illness or whatever it's causing, change something else. Because then you get hyperfixated on changing that something else. Or challenge yourself in some way. Because if it's something you can't help, like, for instance, losing a job or breaking up with someone, it's not like I'd suggest go after them. Like, if you love that person or you love that job so much, sounds cringy and movie-like, but you got to be willing to let them go. Yeah. Like, you've got to figure something else out. Change it up. Go work somewhere else. Go work somewhere that you never heard of, a company you don't know, and learn a new skill. Go to uni. Go to tape. Sounds so weird, but I always suggest changing something.
Yeah, I like
Doesn't have to be changing that, but yeah, like if you don't play video games, play video games. Or if you play too many video games, just hop
Go
off.
for a run, do anything, yeah.
Yeah, work out instead of video games.
Change, I think from what I've been reading, it's psychologically the answer to most depression. It's just you're kind of fixated on what is currently happening, and changing is going to break that pattern. So I haven't heard that answer yet. I have recently, I don't know why, in the last like 5 episodes, people always say it depends on the circumstances, and I've only recently started to understand that. It's not the same advice for everyone. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. But the change is the important part.
Yeah, I think what helps you overcome depression or anxiety or anything that leads to depression is your perspective on life. If you can fix or work on your perspective of your own life or what's happening around you, then that can not help cure it, but it can help you put yourself on a better path. Obviously, seeking professional help is definitely always the best.
Yeah.
But and I think change is one of the best things to get you out of your own mindset. Because if you're doing something you've never done before, that's gonna completely put you off. You're gonna change. You're gonna have fresh new eyes to be looking at your own life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just go rock climbing randomly, whatever.
Yeah.
It's weird, but do it.
Yeah, lovely. I like the way you said that. It's kind of like Andrew Tate's message when they ask him, because I'm a big fan of Andrew Tate. I don't care if people like him or not. I love his message. But I understand the way he says it isn't the best way for everyone to understand what he's saying. And when he says things like, "What do you think about depression?" He says, "I don't believe it exists." Now, I know that he isn't that close-minded.
Yeah.
He is saying what you're saying. It's your perspective on that. His perspective on depression is it doesn't exist. He understands it's real, but if he changes his perspective to "I'm not depressed," it's another way of saying how can I get out of this? What can I do to help it? What can I do to fix it?
He's manifesting the idea that he's not.
Yeah.
And
that's your goal when you're trying to change your perspective. You're trying to change your mindset from life is half empty to life is half full.
Yeah.
And the easiest way to do that for some people, like Andrew Tate's trying to say, is pretend there is no other half that could be missing, then it's full. Yeah, but I tell you what, I really, really do thank you for coming over. I've actually loved this episode.
My pleasure.
I have loved it a lot. And I like that you came on such short notice too. I think I only hit you up for this episode maybe, very, very recently.
No, sorry, I'm so bad at replying.
Yeah, you are pretty bad.
I'm so bad.
Flying hay.
I'm the worst. Because what happens is majority of the time, when I get a text, I'll be actually driving, and my car will read it to me.
Yeah.
But what it does is it'll read it, but so say that you send me a text, my car will read it, and then takes it off my recent.
Okay.
So, but I don't think it says that I've read it.
I never noticed.
So
that.
when it reads it to me, it just takes away the notification, puts it somewhere else.
Yeah.
So then I actually have to scroll through my messages to see if there's a black mark or a grey mark, and then go into it. That's right. Ryan, I do it all the time to Ryan and Nick. They're like, "Oh, you coming out?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll be there in 30 minutes." 2.5 hours later.
Yeah.
But no, for someone that works in communications and stuff, I suck at personal communications.
That's all right. Well, again, thank you for giving me your time today. Yeah.
No, thank
and
you.
we'll do an episode in the future.
Perfect.
Alright,
Can't
beautiful.
wait.
That's alright.
Shawty catch a vibe, yeah, I had to put her on. Bought a 2-seater, yeah, we heading for the sun. Shawty got my high, I ain't tripping for the funds. Yeah, I won't start, I ain't tripping, I'm a stunt.